Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
The Land of Healing, a land of outstanding people and abundant resources, where green plants can be seen everywhere. In this vibrant and dynamic land, every corner exudes an atmosphere of tranquility and harmony. The Healing Kingdom was an early member state of IGO. Although its land area is small, it is under the special protection of IGO, and anyone who comes here must obediently follow the rules. Ordinary people in the Healing Kingdom live in buildings surrounding the Healing Tree, while renowned regeneration masters reside inside the Healing Tree. The Healing Tree is enormous. Its trunk and branches can all be made into rooms for living. The regeneration practitioners live here to avoid disturbances and can provide more comprehensive treatment if patients come. Qianyi walked towards the town. Along the way, I saw many doctors from countries known for their healing abilities, as well as patients recuperating on hillsides and grasslands. Many patients, despite being injured and still in the recovery period, had smiles on their faces and showed no signs of distress because of their injuries. They understood that even if they were still alive, they could be healed as long as they reached the land of healing. Qianyi will be staying in the healing country for at least a month, so he is not in a hurry. Instead of going directly to Yuzuo, he wanders around other parts of the town. This is Qianyi's first time in the Healing Kingdom, and she is very curious about everything here. I want to try everything, whether it's food or games. Acupuncture treatment. Qianyi entered a treatment shop out of curiosity and saw many beds made of cacti. It's a bed-type cactus, doctor. Haha, let me give it a try. Qianyi paid the shop owner and then lay down on it. In the past year or so, I've hardly had a chance to relax in order to complete my missions and become stronger. Once he lay down, the cactus thorns seemed to have a spirit, automatically adjusting their strength and position according to Qianyi's physical condition. So comfortable tilde. Qianyi immediately felt comfortable, then closed her eyes and let her body completely relax. After lying on the cactus bed for about half an hour, Qianyi felt all the fatigue in her body disappear and then left satisfied. After leaving acupuncture treatment, Qianyi found another great place, Hot Spring Shark. Hot Spring Shark, a beast with a capture level of 20. This shark has a concave back with blowholes similar to those of a whale from which it can spout hot springs. Because of its enormous size, it's more like a giant swimming pool than a hot spring. The hot spring sharks also raise a variety of fish that are beneficial to physical and mental health. For example, the slimming fish is a magical fish that uses its tiny snout to pierce the pores and suck out excess subcutaneous fat. There are also blood clots that are invisible to the naked eye. These fish can enter blood vessels directly, eat away the blood clots that block them, and then come out of the body. There are also tumor fish that can eat malignant tumors and cancer-swallowing seahorses that can eat cancer cells. These treatments are effective, convenient, painless, and most importantly, all natural. Qianyi paid the money and jumped into the hot spring shark while wearing only a pair of underwear. Upon jumping into the hot spring, Qianyi felt an unprecedented sense of comfort. The warm and gentle hot spring water captivated him. He lay on his back in the water, looking at the sky above the hot spring and gradually relaxed. An hour later, Qianyi felt a little hungry and left the hot spring shark. Arriving at the most famous restaurant in the Land of Healing, Qianyi sat down and ordered a table full of delicious dishes, enjoying them slowly. Wow, they all look so delicious. Keratin berry, it's said to make your hair soft. This is 100-flavor snail. The meat is plump and delicious, and it's said that each one tastes different with a total of 100 different flavors. This time it's almond and this one. Qianyi's chopsticks moved nimbly across the table, each dish seemingly telling a story of the magic and uniqueness of the Land of Healing. Burp tilde, I'm full, thank you for the meal. After Qianyi had eaten and drunk her fill, she slowly walked toward the Tree of Healing. Generally speaking, a renowned regeneration master like Yasaku can only be met by appointment in advance, but he will not see anyone he doesn't know. Qianyi was prepared to be turned away. If he couldn't see Yuzuo, he would seek help from other regeneration masters. The mountain where the healing tree grows is called Healing Mountain, and only by climbing this mountain can one reach the place where the Regenerators live. Qianyi proceeded along the spiral-shaped mountain path. Hey, who's that person? A green airplane-shaped hairstyle suddenly appeared in front of Qianyi, catching his eye. Once the person got closer, Qianyi was able to see clearly and immediately cast an insight spell on them. Name, typing gender, male cell grade, basic introduction, detailed introduction. Sure enough, when used against someone stronger than oneself, nothing can be seen. Qianyi looked at the man with the pompadour in front of her and couldn't help but sigh. That's right, the person standing in front of Qianyi right now is the regeneration master typing. Yasaku's last disciple, possessing immense strength. Like his master Yasaku, he is a renowned regeneration master, and he also continues Yajiro's bloodline. In the early stages of the story, with only a little help from Yuzuru, he captured Zebula, the strongest of the four heavenly kings. This shows that Teppei's current strength is absolutely at the top among the younger generation. The four heavenly kings are no match for him, and the current Qianyi is even less of a match. Qianyi composed herself and took a few steps forward to stand in front of Typing. Mr. Typing, I have long admired your name. Typing was deep in thought when he saw Qianyi blocking his way, and he asked in confusion, "Who are you?" Typing didn't recognize Qianyi, but he wasn't surprised that Qianyi recognized him. After all, he was quite famous in this place. His reputation was known throughout the entire human world. "Mr. Teppei, I am a gourmet hunter and my name is Qianyi." Qianyi introduced himself. "Qianyi, I feel like I've heard that name somewhere before," Typing muttered. "I came to the land of healing this time to ask Senior Yuzuo for a favor. I think only he has the ability to regenerate gourmet jellyfish as an ingredient." Jellyfish, a delicacy, is an ingredient that Teppei must have heard of, as it is said to have been discovered in Acacia. Regenerators, compared to others, are more aware of and sensitive to this precious ingredient. Gourmet jellyfish, Master said he hasn't seen this ingredient for hundreds of years. "I wonder where you found it," Typing asked curiously. Qianyi told Typing about the food auction. So it was an international food auction hosted by IGO. What a pity that this ingredient was ruined by the food event. Qianyi told Typing about the auction and also explained that she wanted to ask him to make regenerating gourmet jellyfish and devil fruit. Typing had originally planned to go down the mountain, but after hearing Qianyi's words, he immediately turned back and led Qianyi toward the healing tree. "All right, this way, this is the interior of the mother tree." Typing led the way, explaining everything they saw along the way to Qianyi. This time, Teppei wasn't as talkative as in the original story. Although he was powerful, he was approachable. As Qianyi followed behind Typing, he couldn't help but feel a sense of respect for this powerful regeneration master. Stepping inside the healing tree, Qianyi saw a completely different scene. The healing tree, also known as the Gourmet Inn, has an incredibly spacious interior. The entire healing kingdom is almost devoid of high-tech products, yet its interior, lacking advanced technology like electric lights, is brightly lit, as if it were daytime. There are many wooden houses here where healers build homes and perform healing. Looking around, one can see regeneration masters working everywhere, all of whom are famous regeneration masters. So many people, and they are all famous regeneration masters. Qianyi couldn't help but exclaim. Typing explained, this place also gathers aspiring regeneration masters who want to become their disciples. It's a place where we constantly receive food regeneration requests from all over the world. A regeneration commission, speaking of which, the cost of regenerating ingredients with you, Senior, must be very high, right? Qianyi said. Typing smiled upon hearing this and said, "Countless gourmets want to commission my master every day and the commission fees are astronomical. However, money is secondary. The main thing is my master's mood." Qianyi nodded, knowing that strong people all have their own tempers, but I still hope that Mr. Typing will put in a good word for me later. "Let's go, I'll take you to see your master," Typing said. Soon, Qianyi followed Typing to a wooden house. Stepping into the wooden house, my eyes were involuntarily drawn to the rugged-looking man. The moment I stepped into the house, I saw a tall, middle-aged man with a cigar in his mouth, busy at work, the smoke from his mouth slowly rising into the air. Cigar tree tobacco comes from a tree called the cigar tree, and its branches, once dried, have the flavor of cigar tobacco. It is stronger than a regular cigar, and it is said that one puff is addictive, making it a favorite among many smokers. However, IGO strictly prohibits minors from smoking, and its ingredients are prohibited for minors. The man was wearing a blood-stained cloak and had a thick beard. His appearance alone gave him a rugged and unrefined air. It was obvious that the person in front of him was Yuzuo. "Oh, ha ha ha, Teppei, you're back so soon." Yuzuo turned around and asked, then saw Qianyi behind Teppei and asked in confusion, Who is this young man?" "Master, this is the gourmet hunter Qianyi. He needs your help with some things," Typing introduced calmly. Yuzuo's gaze shifted from Typing to Qianyi, his deep eyes flashing with scrutiny. "Oh, you need my help? Well, you'll have to tell me what it is." He brandished the cigar in his hand, a hint of amusement in his tone. Qianyi took a deep breath, stepped forward, and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Senior Yuzuo. My name is Qianyi. I've come to ask you. Qianyi simply explained his purpose. Gourmet jellyfish and devil fruits, hahaha, these are both extremely troublesome ingredients. Yuzuo sat on a wooden stool, crossed his legs, and held a still-burning cigar between his fingers. He continued to look at Qianyi and said, the gourmet jellyfish is an ingredient from hundreds of years ago. No matter how well it is preserved, the cells in its body have probably already died. Even if it regenerates a complete limb, it will not achieve the effect you want. Qianyi felt a pang of disappointment upon hearing this. Since Yuzuo had already said so, she had no choice but to give up. Now only one option remains: use the regeneration stone, 500 food points. It hurts to think about it. You need to complete at least 4 main quests to earn that back. However, I am quite confident about this devil fruit. Looking at the black devil fruit in Qianyi's hand, Yuzuo said, devil fruits are a unique product of the red line. A few years ago, I heard about them from a colleague. They can grant the user special abilities after eating them, but they have a fatal flaw. He tried to regenerate a perfect devil fruit, but he failed. So later he came to me, and I gave him some advice. Finally, he made some progress. Senior Yuzuo, as long as you can successfully remove the drawbacks of this devil fruit, I am willing to pay any commission fee, Qianyi said, cupping his hands in greeting. A commission fee. Hahaha, I haven't even agreed to your commission yet, and this kind of commission fee would require at least 10 billion yen, right? Yasaku casually suggested a price. Qianyi cursed herself for being foolish. How could someone like Yuzuo be short of money? Senior Yuzuo, I understand that you are not someone who cares about money, but this devil fruit is very important to me. I can't pay these commission fees right now, but I will definitely work hard to earn money to pay you back. Qianyi bowed again and said sincerely. Yuzuo's smile didn't disappear. He continued looking at Qianyi and said, hee, the curse of the devil fruit can't necessarily be completely removed and there are other side effects. Even so, you still want to ask me for a favor? Of course I will. Even if there's only a 0.1% chance, I'll definitely give it a try. I refuse to believe that things others think are impossible to succeed at. Aren't rules meant to be broken? Qianyi said with a determined look. Upon hearing Qianyi's words, Yuzuo's expression changed instantly. After a moment, he stood up and exclaimed, well said, young man, boring rules are meant to be broken. Our lives are full of rules. The unpredictable tomorrow, the unknown future, and the road we have to walk are all new rules. This time, I won't charge you any commission fee. Just remember what you just said. Qianyi was overjoyed and quickly thanked him, saying, thank you and Senior Yuzuo. I also have a small request. Senior, I have a small request. Go ahead and tell me. Qianyi looked at Yuzuo and said in a pleading tone, I want to stay in the mother tree for a while, and while waiting for the devil fruit to finish regenerating, I want to try regenerating the gourmet jellyfish myself. Qianyi has decided to exchange for the Stone of Regeneration to restore the gourmet jellyfish, but this process will take a month and requires a quiet and safe environment. You want to try regenerating jellyfish yourself? Inside the wooden house, Yasaku and Teppei both looked at Chie with surprise. That's right, although I know nothing about regeneration technology, I just told Senior Yuzuo that rules are meant to be broken, and I want to try to break this rule. Qianyi's words once again drew loud laughter from Yuzuo. Haha, young man, you're becoming more and more to my liking. Well said, rules are meant to be broken. Typing, take this young man to the inn and find him a room to stay in, Yuzuo instructed. Yes, master. Qianyi left the space fruit in Yuzuo's regenerated wooden house and then came out with Teppei. Qianyi, do you want to learn regeneration technology? After walking out of the wooden house, Teppei asked this question. Even Yuzuo couldn't do anything about the jellyfish fragments that Qianyi brought. He couldn't possibly regenerate them successfully. Typing felt that Qianyi's words just now meant that he wanted to stay here to learn the regeneration technique. Qianyi certainly wouldn't reveal anything about the regeneration stone. He scratched the back of his head, feigning ignorance, and said, haha, Mr. Teppei saw through me. Although my ideal is to become a powerful gourmet hunter, I have a strong interest in regenerated ingredients. Since I have this rare opportunity, I want to learn more about it. Taiping looked at Qianyi, a hint of doubt flashing in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared. In that case, I'll make the arrangements for you, Taiping said, turning and walking towards another direction, with Qianyi following closely behind. As arranged by Taiping, Qianyi settled down inside the mother tree. Qianyi didn't rush to regenerate the gourmet jellyfish. He waited until he was familiar with the surrounding area before making his move. Inside the regenerated wooden house, Qianyi locked the door from the inside and took out the fragments of the gourmet jellyfish. Next, Qianyi took the regeneration stone out of her system inventory. The Stone of Rebirth, how to obtain, system shop price, 500 food points. Description: a magical stone that can give any living being a new life and is extremely valuable. Note: the time required for regeneration varies depending on the object being regenerated. If the object being regenerated develops self-awareness or refuses to be revived, the regeneration stone will immediately become ineffective. As can be seen from the description, there are certain risks involved in using this tool. The jellyfish, being a creature with its own consciousness, will have its 500 points wasted if it refuses to be resurrected. Even so, Qianyi was determined to give it a try. After preparing, Qianyi crushed the regeneration stone. The moment it shattered, the red energy surged towards the gourmet jellyfish inside the container. Qianyi stared nervously at the jellyfish fragments in the container, silently praying that it would accept this gift from the regeneration stone. The red energy, like fine threads, penetrated every cell of the gourmet jellyfish, gradually making its originally transparent body clearer. Qianyi was overjoyed to see this, as it meant that the gourmet jellyfish had accepted regeneration and was already more than halfway to success. Qianyi quickly closed the lid of the container, allowing the gourmet jellyfish to slowly absorb the energy of the regeneration stone. Next, all you need to do is wait quietly for at least a month. Time dividing line. In the days that followed, Qianyi spent all her time in the land of healing, or rather, she hardly ever left the interior of the mother tree. He observes the regeneration progress of the gourmet jellyfish every day and spends his free time learning regeneration techniques from Tepe. As for Yuza, he has never left his regeneration cabin, working on the regeneration devil fruit. That's how regeneration practitioners are. Once they're immersed in their work, they won't leave the regeneration room for a year or two. A month passed quickly. A lot has happened in the outside world during this month. As the number of IGO member countries increases, some potential problems have emerged. The allied nations influence each other, with the Red Line and the Land of Ninjas being the most affected. Before joining IGO, the world government of the Red Line could barely suppress pirates. After becoming a member country, a large number of gourmet hunters, gourmet bandits, and gourmet killers entered the continent, disrupting the world order. Some pirates also recruited powerful gourmets to form pirate crews to fight against the world government. The world government, led by the Five Elders, sought help from IGO in hopes of suppressing these pirates. The rogue ninjas of the Land of Ninja could only hide within their own territory. Now that the Land of Fire has joined IGO, it's like a guiding light for them, causing them to scatter throughout the human world and continue their evil deeds. IGO also issued a bounty, seeking the arrest of some vicious ninjas, among whom the highest bounty was for members of the organization called Akatsuki. In addition, Qianyi also completed 3 side quests during this month, and his cell level also improved slightly. Host: Qianyi food points, 420. Cell grade 53 cellular demon, none available cooking skill level, proficient reputation, 2010 task, none talents, basic culinary skills, intermediate acupressure, insight culinary weapon. Chopstick system inventory, talent stone, X1, as usual. Qianyi got up and went to the transparent container where the jellyfish were regenerating. As expected of an item obtained from the system, the gourmet jellyfish grew from a palm-sized fragment into a complete jellyfish in just 1 month. The crystal-clear umbrella floats slowly in the water of the container, its tendrils swaying gently, full of life and vitality. Insight name: Gourmet Jellyfish. Basic introduction: a special organism that carries gourmet cells, an extremely precious top-grade ingredient. Detailed description: currently undergoing regeneration, 92% completion, 92% complete. It's almost done. At most, it will take another 3 days for the regeneration to complete. Genshin, you'll soon have gourmet cells, just wait for me. Qianyi was secretly pleased. Just then Tai Ping knocked on the door. Qianyi, are you inside? Qianyi walked to the door and gently opened it. Mr. Tepe, what's wrong? What happened? The devil fruit regeneration work is complete. Your master wants you to come over immediately. Really? That's great. Chiyo was overjoyed and went with Tepe to Yasaku's regenerated wooden house. Qianyi rushed to Yuzuo's regenerated wooden house and saw the space fruit on the table as soon as she entered. Judging by appearance alone, the space fruit has not changed much compared to a month ago, but Qianyi saw something different through insight. Name: Space Fruit Basic Introduction. This is a devil fruit that has been improved by regenerators. After eating it, one can gain the ability to create space. The size of the space created is related to one's own strength. Detailed information, not yet available. A month ago, when I checked the information using Insight, the basic description included a warning that, after consuming it, you will never be able to swim again. However, this line of text is now missing. This shows that the biggest drawback of devil fruits has been eliminated. Brother Qianyi, I've completed the regeneration of the devil fruit. However, the rules haven't been completely broken yet. Whether you choose to continue breaking the rules is up to you, Yuzuo said to Qianyi, a cigar still dangling from his lips. Qianyi understood the meaning behind Yuzuo's words. Although the defect of this devil fruit, which prevented it from swimming, had been eliminated, it was still unknown whether there were any other side effects. It may have a weakness more serious than inability to swim, or it may be in a flawless and perfect state. Qianyi walked to the table, looked at the spatial fruit before him and said, "From the moment I arrived here, I was determined to break the rules. Now that regeneration is complete, how can I back down? With gratitude for all things in this world, I'm starting." After saying that, Qianyi picked up the spatial fruit on the table and took a big bite. His brows furrowed immediately. It tastes awful. Just like the rumors, devil fruits are extremely unpalatable. The fruit tastes as rough as sand, utterly tasteless, and not even as good as ordinary ingredients. Qianyi knew that eating the fruit at this moment was not to satisfy her appetite, but to pursue greater power. Seeing Qianyi's expression, Yuzuo laughed heartily and said, "It tastes pretty bad, right? Because I only improved its effects, not its texture." "Master, you should have said something sooner," Typing complained from the side. Qianyi tried his best to swallow all the remaining fruit, because only by eating them all could he obtain the full power of the fruit. When Qianyi finished eating all the fruit, a powerful aura surged from his body. "Ding, congratulations, host, you have acquired a new talent, Intermediate Spatial Power. Intermediate Spatial Power Type, Talent Ability Introduce. 1 Primary Spatial Power allows for weak perception of space and instantaneous teleportation of objects over short distances. 2 Intermediate Spatial Power creates storage space within a certain range. 3 Advanced Spatial Power, 4 Master's Spatial Power, 5 Ultimate Space Power. Control the movement of objects in storage space." Qianyi was thrilled to see the 2 abilities that had been unlocked. Previously, when carrying out missions, I was always troubled by the fact that the ingredients were too big and too numerous to carry easily. Now with this spatial power, all the problems have been solved. Moreover, this talent has 5 levels and Qianyi has only unlocked 2 of them so far. Logically speaking, eating a devil fruit should only unlock the most basic abilities. However, this devil fruit was the product of a month of regeneration with all its might, so it's not surprising that it was directly unlocked to intermediate. "Qianyi, how are you feeling now?" Typing asked curiously. Qianyi didn't speak, but raised her right hand towards an empty cup on the table. The cup then disappeared from the table and reappeared in his hand the next moment. Yuzawa and Tepe were both taken aback. "This fruit is called the space fruit. Eating it grants you spatial power, and now I can teleport to smaller objects." Qianyi only demonstrated the basic abilities of the space fruit, but even so, Yasaku and Tepe were still surprised for quite a while. As Yuzukawa and Tepe's surprise gradually subsided, they couldn't help but become curious about Chia's new abilities. Qianyi looked at the 2 of them, smiled slightly, and said, "Although this ability is amazing, it has many limitations. I just ate the fruit and I am not yet proficient in using the ability. I can only teleport small objects and the distance cannot be too far." Yuzuo nodded and said, "Yes, it seems there are no other side effects so far. This regeneration was very successful. I've figured out the internal structure of devil fruits this time, so it's not impossible to artificially create this type of fruit in the future. Artificially manufactured devil fruits. There are also artificially created devil fruits in the world of One Piece, but they are all unfinished products or failures. Given the power of the food world and these regenerators, it is entirely possible for them to create perfect artificial devil fruits. Imagine adding the power of some ferocious beasts to this artificially created devil fruit. Wouldn't that be comparable to gourmet cell? In this way, even people without a gourmet diet can gain powerful abilities by eating devil fruits." During the month he was in seclusion, he was unaware of the Qianyi regenerated gourmet jellyfish. After hearing Tai Ping's explanation, he was surprised again and looked at Qianyi with even greater admiration, praising Qianyi as someone who could break the rules. It's no wonder Yuzuo was so surprised. He couldn't do it, but Qianyi, who knew nothing about regeneration technology, had accomplished it. Although I had some doubts, I accepted the fact after seeing the fully formed gourmet jellyfish with my own eyes. This reinforced Yuzuo's belief that rules are meant to be broken. 3 days later, the gourmet jellyfish successfully regenerated. Kobayashi Rindu came to the land of healing from Tatsuki, preparing to use the gourmet jellyfish to fuse with gourmet cells. A week later, Kobayashi Genshin successfully fused with the gourmet cells. Before fusing with gourmet cells, Kobayashi Rindu ate a lot of high-grade ingredients with Qianyi, such as Gara crocodile and rainbow fruit. When she awakened her gourmet cells, her cell level was already 12, and now most people are no match for her. After that, Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu lived in the land of healing, preparing for the upcoming events. In addition, out of curiosity about the subsequent abilities of spatial power, Qianyi used the talent Divine Stone to upgrade spatial power to an advanced level, unlocking the third spatial ability. Another half-month passed, the land of healing on a spacious meadow. Kobayashi Rindu and Chiyo stared at each other. Qianyi smiled while Longden looked serious. The two are currently exchanging culinary skills. Name, Kobayashi Rindu. Gender, female. Cell grade, 15. Food technique, weapon, knife. Talents, food luck, master, chef's heart, advanced sense of smell. Basic introduction, currently the second seed of the Far Moon world, a third-year high school student specializing in cooking rare ingredients. In Qianyi's insight, all the information about Kobayashi Rindu is readily available. After Kobayashi Rindu ate the gourmet jellyfish and fused with its cells, Qianyi guided him in training in food techniques, and he successfully conjured a food technique weapon. Knife. With a sharp shout, Longden produced a sharp Western-style dinner knife that appeared above her right hand. Then Longden, wielding a kitchen knife, charged towards Qianyi. The knife traced a graceful arc in the air. Qianyi did not dodge but stood with his hands behind his back and a smile on his face, as if he knew everything about Longden's attack. "Haha, honey, your progress is truly amazing," Qianyi exclaimed, a hint of anticipation in his eyes. "But you must also remember that culinary skills are not just about attacking, but more importantly, about understanding and appreciating food and always maintaining gratitude for the ingredients." As soon as he finished speaking, Qianyi's body suddenly disappeared from the spot. The next moment, he appeared behind Longden. Qianyi smiled gently, extended his index finger, and a point of golden light condensed at his fingertip. "This is..." Longden felt a powerful aura coming from behind him and was startled. She turned around immediately, only to see a flash of golden light at Qianyi's fingertips and an ordinary-sized chopstick shot towards her. Without a second thought, Longden swiftly swung his knife, a flash of silver light, and chopped down Qianyi's chopsticks. Crack! The chopsticks were hit and fell to the ground, the knife leaving a shallow mark on the gold chopsticks. "That was a good attack, but you're still a long way from being able to defeat your husband." After Qianyi finished speaking, he raised his index finger and lightly tapped Longden's chest, and Longden immediately became unable to move. "HMPH, you're going to lose again." "You don't even know how to let me win," Longden said, pouting and pretending to be angry. "Haha, I'll definitely do it next time, but you've improved a lot, my wife. Maybe you'll surpass me soon." After saying that, Qianyi tapped Longden's body twice more with his fingers to release her acupoints. "Let's go, next up is a rehearsal for dealing with pufferfish whales." Longden took Qianyi's arm with both hands and the two walked towards another part of the healing kingdom. For the past 2 weeks, Qianyi and Xiao and Longden have been making preparations every day for the upcoming big event. In addition to the competition, there was also a rehearsal of the pufferfish whale. Use other similar ingredients to start practicing. That's right, Qianyi has already found out that the pufferfish whales will start laying eggs in a month at most. The pufferfish whale, a top-tier ingredient with a catch level of 29, is known as the deep-sea delicacy and is considered a mythical whale. Young fish live in shallow waters, but once they grow into adults, they return to the deep sea. The pressure difference caused its original length of about 6 meters to shrink to 50-60 centimeters, thus concentrating the most delicious flavor. However, the waste inside also condensed, turning into a poison sac with a lethally potent venom. Once the venom sac ruptures, the entire body of the pufferfish whale is instantly covered in potent poison. Moreover, the location of the venom sac varies greatly from individual to individual, and there are no more than 10 chefs in the world who can perfectly remove it. Although the IGO's 8 rules of gourmet food prohibit the circulation of poisoned pufferfish whales, a large number of poisoned pufferfish whales are still released into the market through the black market, because their deliciousness remains unchanged even after poisoning. It is estimated that more than 100,000 people die each year from poisoned pufferfish whales. Therefore, pufferfish whales are also known as food that one would risk death to eat. Incidentally, the individual retail price of the drug, excluding the poison bags, is 500 million yen. Even when poisoned, it fetches as much as 8 million yen on the black market. Qianyi was determined to get this ingredient. It was something he had decided to capture before he even came here. Therefore, Qianyi always had Longden perform a rehearsal to prepare for dealing with the pufferfish whale later. Qianyi believes that with Longdon's luck and hard work, they will definitely be able to successfully handle the pufferfish whale. Half a month later, news of the pufferfish whale swept across the human world like a tsunami. After the news broke, food-related stocks in major markets surged for 2 consecutive days, hitting their daily limit. In particular, the number of successful hires of food hunters to capture pufferfish whales began to rise sharply. Numerous renowned gourmet hunters have been hired, and it is rumored that even some retired gourmet hunters have participated in capturing pufferfish whales, but they are doing so because they want to eat them, not because they are commissioned. A week later, seeing that it was almost time, Qianyi bid farewell to Yusaku and Tepe and prepared to head to the spawning grounds of pufferfish whales, the cave beach. Thank you so much, seniors and Mr. Tepe, for taking care of me for the past 2 months. I am deeply grateful. I will do my best to help you in the future. After Qianyi finished speaking, he and Kobayashi Randu bowed deeply to Yuzawa and Tepe. Haha, brother Qianyi, no need to be so polite. I've already said I'm only helping you because you suit my taste. I'll keep your room for you and the gates of the Healing Kingdom are always open for you, Yuzuo said with a smile. Okay. Qianyi didn't say thank you again. Continuing to express his gratitude would seem a bit pretentious. Catching a pufferfish whale. After standing aside and muttering to himself for a while, Typing said, speaking of which, Grandpa will definitely go too. He can't resist the fin wine made from pufferfish whales. Tepe's grandfather was Gyro, the master of pressure point manipulation. According to the anime's plot, he will also go there. It remains to be seen whether he will encounter the world's strongest person this time. On the very day that Qianyi planned to leave the land of healing, John Reese took the initiative to come to her door. Qianyi knew that this busy minister wouldn't come to the temple without a reason, so his initiative to come to her must mean something important. John Reese met Qianyi and got straight to the point, saying, I have a request for you. Are you free now? To be honest, I'm not free. The pufferfish whales only come ashore once every 10 years. I've been preparing for more than a month just to wait for this moment. If I miss it, I'll have to wait another 10 years. Qianyi paused, then looked at John Reese and said, however, since Minister John has come all the way to the Healing Kingdom to find me, let's first talk about what exactly this request is. Apprehend the wanted criminals. Qianyi initially thought it was a request to capture some ingredient, but it turned out to be a request to apprehend a wanted criminal. Isn't apprehending wanted criminals the responsibility of the IGO Legal Affairs Bureau Food Police? It has nothing to do with Minister John, right? Qianyi asked doubtfully. Johans explained, you're right, catching food criminals is the Legal Affairs Bureau's responsibility, but this criminal is not simple. Ordinary food police officers are no match for him. As he spoke, John Reese took out several photos from his pocket and handed them to Qianyi. This is a photo of the criminal. Qianyi took it and looked at it. When he saw the first photo, he exclaimed in surprise, the Akatsuki. The photo shows 2 men wearing black trench coats embroidered with red clouds and straw hats with wind chimes attached. They also have rings with different words on their fingers. Oh, you actually knew that. John Reese habitually adjusted his sunglasses and looked at Qianyi, saying, the criminals this time are from the land of ninjas. According to secret information provided by the high-ranking officials of the land of ninjas, the criminals established a criminal organization called Akatsuki in their home country, secretly carrying out criminal activities under the guise of world peace. Through John Reese's explanation, Qianyi understood the cause and effect of the matter. The land of ninjas is located in an extremely remote area of the human world, far from the central region. The fact that there were no other countries around them gave them the illusion that their ninja country was the only one in the world. The Akatsuki organization already existed before the land of ninja joined IGO. Akatsuki's goal is to capture a ferocious beast called the tailed beast of their country, intending to use its power to destroy the land of ninja and achieve the peaceful unification of the entire nation. As the Ninja Kingdom joined IGO as a member country, the perception of the entire Ninja Kingdom gradually changed. The Akatsuki organization also decided to keep pace with the times and venture beyond its homeland to seek greater power. Besides Akatsuki, some of the wanted rogue ninjas also fled to other parts of the human world, causing some impact. IGO Food News even reported on this last month. Of course, among the ninjas who came from the land of ninjas, the members of Akatsuki caused the most trouble. They committed all kinds of evil deeds, such as burning, killing, and looting, and their behavior was similar to that of the Gourmet Association. To prevent the emergence of a second gourmet society, IGO, wanting to nip it in the bud, dispatched several elite gourmet police officers. led by Aigo's legal affairs director, Sake Glass, to arrest members of the Akatsuki organization. They thought it would be easy to apprehend the suspects, but to their surprise, the food police officers they sent out were all murdered. Aigo then realized that the members of Akatsuki were no ordinary people. These photos show two members of the Akatsuki organization, Hidden and Kakuzu. Based on the information provided by the Legal Affairs Bureau and the murder of several food police officers, the level of this request is probably around 30. John Reese looked at Qianyi and continued, "There's no time limit for this mission. It continues until the criminals are caught. This mission doesn't conflict with your capture of the pufferfish whale. According to reliable sources, these two are very likely also heading to the pufferfish whale's spawning grounds." Qianyi pondered for a moment, then put away one of the photos and said with a smile, "I didn't expect people in the Naruto world to be so interested in eating. No, it's for profit and to become stronger." "Minister John, you've put it this way, how could I refuse? I accept this commission." John Reese was delighted that Qianyi agreed and added, "I will send the detailed information about these two people to your phone later." "No, John Reese paused for a moment, then explained, "This enemy is very strange. They seem to be immortal. It is said that one of them survived having his heart pierced, but they don't have any gourmet cells." Qianyi smiled again and said, "Minister John, no one knows them better than me and I know what's going on. Leave it to me." Seeing that Qianyi said this, John Reese didn't say anything more and finally sent the relevant information about Hidden and Kakuzu to his phone. Qianyi opened the information and took a look. It was pretty much what he knew, nothing more than the two people's attack methods and fighting styles. The Akatsuki. You may be a force to be reckoned with in the Naruto world, but in this gourmet world you won't be allowed to be so arrogant. Everyone except Conan should be sent to the honeycomb prison for reformation, Qianyi muttered to himself. A few days later, the news that pufferfish whales would soon lay their eggs on the beach in the cave was no longer a secret. The food train to the cave beach pufferfish whale habitat became unusually busy in a short period of time. On the food train, every seat was empty and every carriage was packed with people. The people in the carriage remained enthusiastic, enjoying all kinds of food, drinking fine wine, and talking loudly. On the train, more than 80% of the passengers were people planning to go to the cave beach. Among them were food hunters, food killers, and food bodyguards. Without exception, everyone's goal was to capture the pufferfish whale. The cave beach where the pufferfish whale lives is a rare and dangerous place in the human world, but people still go there without hesitation in order to taste the delicious pufferfish whale. Most of them were armed and ready to fight wild beasts at any time. The primary purpose of weapons is to deal with wild beasts, while another purpose is to intimidate others. In a corner of the carriage, two men dressed in red and black trench coats were eating. One of them ate with no manners, laughing loudly as he ate. Next to the man's right hand was a large, red three-section scythe. "This food is so delicious. What did we eat in the land of ninja before? You agree, Kakuzu, right? Shut up, your saliva is about to splash on my face or I'll kill you." That's right, these two are Hidden and Kakuzu, members of Akatsuki who are wanted by IGO. They boarded the food train, intending to join the main group on their way to the cave beach. The two had only recently arrived in the big city of Aigo from the land of ninjas, and were still adjusting to life there. They knew nothing about hunting wild beasts, and it was impossible for them to catch a creature like a pufferfish whale. So they decided to wait and ambush the pufferfish on the only route to the whale, and then strike when the other gourmet hunters returned. The idea is good, and there are quite a few people who have this idea. These days, at the entrance of the cave beach, you can see food killers and food robbers everywhere. The immortal duo, also known as the zombie duo, refers to the duo of Kakuzu and Hidden from the Akatsuki organization. They are named after Kakuzu, who possesses 5 hearts that extend his lifespan, and Hidden, who has the ability to be immortal. They are currently enjoying a delicious meal on the food train. Delicious! This golden salmon roe and this striped salmon are so satisfying, Kakuzu stopped just drinking. Hahaha, there's so much delicious food in the world here. I should have left that wretched place, the land of ninja, a long time ago. Hidden devoured the food on the table, complaining, "Besides, money is easy to make here and we can have anything we want. Let's just not go back." Although Kakuzu didn't say anything, he agreed with Hidden's point of view in his heart. His initial purpose in joining Akatsuki was simply for money. Now that money is so readily available in this world, why would he want to go back to Akatsuki? Moreover, this world gave him a completely new life, with delicious food, beautiful women, and money galore. Let's talk about it after we've done this job. I heard that a single pufferfish whale is worth hundreds of millions of yen. We need to get as many as possible this time. Once we have the money, we don't care what we do with it. Jayadu is a typical example of money is everything, and this is true no matter where he goes. Speaking of which, Orochimaru is really a B asterisk 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 D. He actually escaped from Akatsuki and joined some other organization called the Gourmet Club. I told you long ago that this snake-skinned man was untrustworthy, and we should have killed him from the beginning. Hidden started rambling on and on. The food train was crowded and noisy, and no one would deliberately eavesdrop on what others were saying. Even if someone on the train recognizes Kakuzu and Hidden as IGO's wanted criminals, they won't care. Most of the passengers on this train are hired gourmet hunters who wouldn't risk offending a criminal whose strength is still unknown just for a bounty. It's better to avoid trouble. The main objective this time is the pufferfish whale. Before obtaining the pufferfish whale, most people will not make a move against others. Furthermore, we're currently on a gourmet train, and a fight broke out while the train is traveling at high speed, affecting the train's operation. Nobody benefits from this. At least it's safe until you reach the train station where the cave beach is located. Hidden and Kakuzu were in another carriage, in a different location. There are more people going to the cave beach than I expected. Kobayashi Rindu looked at the gourmet hunters scattered throughout the carriage and couldn't help but sigh. Qianyi picked up a glass of platinum lemon juice and drank it before saying, "Pufferfish whales can only be caught once every 10 years, and each catch involves great danger, which is why pufferfish whales are so valuable. People die for money, birds die for food. Most people cannot resist the temptation of money." After speaking, Qianyi put down his cup, his deep eyes revealing a sense of awe for nature. The others were after the pufferfish whale to sell for a good price, while Chiyo and Kobayashi Rindu were simply after its delicious taste. After exchanging a few words, Kobayashi Rindu turned his gaze to the immortal duo at the back of the carriage and whispered, "Qianyi, the target hasn't noticed us yet. Shall we make our move after we get off the train? No rush." Since they've boarded this gourmet train, their goal is the pufferfish whale. They won't leave until they get it, so we have plenty of time to deal with them, Qianyi said. Having accepted the request from Igo, Qianyi also triggered the related side quest. Arrest the wanted criminal, side mission introduction. Hidden and Kakuzu, members of the Akatsuki organization from the land of ninja, have violated Igo's 8 laws of gourmet food with their various actions. Since the host has accepted Igo's request, please bring them to justice. Completion conditions. Arrest Kakuzu and Hidden and hand them over to Igo. Rewards, food points plus 80, reputation plus 50. The task rewards were nothing special, which indirectly shows that the task was not difficult for Qianyi. "Hey, you've taken all the alcohol from this carriage, what are we supposed to do?" Suddenly, a loud voice came from where Kakuzu and Hidden were. A burly man with a pockmarked face and a giant axe hanging on his back was shouting loudly. He pointed to the several cases of fine wine at Kakuzu's feet and said, "If you give us a case right away, this matter can be settled like this." 2 henchmen followed behind the burly man. Qianyi smiled when he saw the 3 of them. "I never expected to run into the master Zanjia so soon." Sauga, a gourmet hunter with mediocre skills, is present in the main storyline of the original work despite his average strength. He is also the first person to dare to provoke Toriko. Its true strength is such that even capturing a level 5 beast would be difficult, but its luck with food is incredible. Together with its 2 underlings, it saved the entire planet in the final storyline. It was precisely because of his strong luck with food that he was able to turn danger into safety time and time again. Driven by curiosity, Qianyi used insight on Zanjia. Name, Zanjia gender, male cell grade, 4 food-based weapon, none innate abilities, food luck, premium, ape king's protection. Basic introduction. With boundless food resources, life goes on as long as food resources are inexhaustible. This brief introduction of just over 10 words is already more impressive than most people's, considering that Kobayashi Rindu only has a master level of luck in food. Perhaps only Komatsu's food luck can be compared to that of Soka. Zanjia deliberately raised his voice to attract the attention of the others. "Who are you?" Hidden immediately looked up and sized up Sunga. "They don't even recognize our Lord Zanjia." The underlings standing behind Zanjia began to speak one sentence at a time. "This is Lord Soga, the great gourmet hunter who has completed his own life menu. The appetizer is golden salmon roe, the soup is snake and frog liver soup, the meat dish is crab and pork, and the main course is Galatian alligator under 8. Although Zanjia completed his life menu, it was a forced patchwork with all the capture levels below 5, making it only slightly better than the food on an ordinary person's table. "What is this? It sounds like very ordinary food." Get out of here while I'm in a good mood or else. After saying that, Hidden reached out and prepared to pick up the large scythe next to him. Hidden. Surprisingly, Kakuzu then used his eyes to make Hidden look like he was about to attack, before turning to look at Saugo and saying, "Take the rest of the sake." Zangia became even more pleased with himself upon hearing this. "Very good, Lord Zangia will remember your generosity." And so Zangia and his underlings left satisfied, carrying 2 cases of wine. The carriage quickly returned to its previous noisy state as if nothing had ever happened. "Kakuzu, why are you stopping me? Watch me kill him." Hidden, looking angrily in the direction Soga had left, said, "You even gave him the sake. You miser, when did you become so generous? Were you scared out of your wits by him?" Hidden and Kakuzu have been partners for some time and have gotten to know each other. Kakuzu's behavior just now was completely different from his usual self. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would never have believed it. Even Kakuzu found his own composure somewhat unbelievable. "It's not a good time to make a move on the train. We're currently wanted by IGO, so it's best not to attract attention," Kakuzu said. Hidden scoffed. "Everyone's bragging about how amazing IGO is. Those so-called food police sent to arrest us, didn't we kill them all? They couldn't do anything to us. Don't rush, we'll kill that B******** D after we get off the car," Kakuzu said with a gloomy face. A similar incident occurred in another carriage. A drunken old man, staggering as he walked, approached the 4 heavenly kings Toriko and Koko, asking for a drink. Accompanying Toriko and Koko was Komatsu, the chef from the gourmet hotel. During this pufferfish whale hunt, the 3 characters remain unchanged from the original story. Toriko felt sorry for the old man and readily gave him a few bottles of wine. The old man staggered away with the wine, muttering something like, "I will remember your kindness in giving me this wine." Unfortunately, the train was crowded and noisy, so Toriko and his 2 companions didn't hear it. This train has gathered many powerful individuals, making this adventure destined to be extraordinary. The food train soon arrived at the Cave Beach station, where 80% of the passengers disembarked. A large group of people walked towards the Cave Beach. "Where did that be D go? I'm going to offer his blood to the evil god." After getting off the gourmet train, Hidden couldn't wait to find Soga. He carried the large scythe on his shoulder and set off on his journey. Qianyi and Kobayashi, the immortal duo, were in the same carriage. After getting off the gourmet train, Qianyi followed the 2. "Qianyi, should we make a move?" Kobayashi Rindu asked, looking at the immortal duo standing in front of them. Qianyi nodded, intending to take action immediately. After thinking for a moment, Qianyi immediately took out her phone and called John Reese, telling him to come over right away and take the person away. Then this scene unfolded. Hidden and Kakuzu searched for Soga, while Senju and Kobayashi Rindu followed behind them. Soon the group arrived at the entrance to the Cave Beach. It was a huge entrance, like a giant centipede with its mouth open, and from the outside all you could see was darkness. On the large rocks surrounding the entrance sat a dozen or so food-loving bandits, each armed with weapons. At the entrance to the Cave Beach, Hidden and Kakuzu finally found Soga and the other 2. Found it. Hidden was about to rush up to confront Soga when a middle-aged man dressed as a professional gourmet hunter stopped him. The man had a long sword at his waist, was burly and had piercing eyes. He was clearly an experienced gourmet hunter. "Ah, and who are you?" Hidden was inexplicably stopped by someone again, which annoyed him greatly. But upon seeing the middle-aged man holding their bounty posters, they immediately understood. "So you're an IGO food police officer too, here to die again." "Don't get me wrong, I'm not a food police officer, I'm just a food bounty hunter." Unlike food hunters, gourmet bounty hunters are primarily motivated by making money. They accept not only food-related tasks but also anything that can generate quick profits. This time, IGO has issued a level warrants for Hidden and Kakuzu with a bounty of over 50 million yen. This gourmet bounty hunter had only come here to complete the pufferfish whales mission. But after getting out of the car, he saw 2 Class A bounty criminals and decided to make some extra money on the side. Seeing this, Qianyi, who was originally about to make a move, stopped and waited for the show to begin. Not only Qianyi, but also the other gourmet hunters who were planning to go to the Cave Beach gathered around, including Toriko and 2 others. "Hee, this is going to be interesting. Do you think Yamamoto Isoroku will be able to arrest this wanted criminal this time?" "I think there's no problem. Yamamoto Isoroku's strength as a gourmet hunter is quite formidable. These 2 wanted criminals are really unlucky to have been targeted by Yamamoto." From the surrounding chatter of onlookers, Qianyi learned the name of this gourmet bounty hunter. Yamamoto Isoroku, a very easy-to-pronounce name. The battle soon began. and Yamamoto Isoroku lived up to his reputation as a renowned bounty hunter, demonstrating exceptional skill. Even when facing a combined attack from Kakuzu and Hidden, they still had the upper hand. If Yamamoto Isoroku had faced another member of Akatsuki, he might have won. However, all his killing moves landed on Hidden. Although every strike was deadly, Hidden seemed completely unaffected. During this process, he was also scratched by Hidden and bled. Afterwards, Hidden used his unique attack technique, Jujutsu, Death Possession Blood, to kill Yamamoto Isoroku. The onlookers saw Yamamoto Isoroku lying on the ground and had no idea what had just happened. They clearly saw Hidden stab himself in the chest with a weapon, but it was Yamamoto who fell down. Aside from Chihiro, who knew what was going on, the four Heavenly Kings, Koko, recognized Hidden's attack method. "Ha serves them right, they actually caused us trouble." Hidden laughed loudly, holding his blood-stained scythe in his hand with immense pride. "What kind of gourmet police, gourmet bounty hunters, none of you are a match for me, you are all sacrifices to the evil god. Hidden, we must leave here." Kakuzu sensed the murderous aura emanating from the crowd. This murderous aura made Kakuzu very uncomfortable. The reason why Kakuno has survived to this day is not only due to his own strength, but also because of his high level of vigilance against danger. There were several people in the crowd who made him extremely uncomfortable. That was a dangerous aura that could crush him and Hidden underfoot at any time. Furthermore, the battle just now had exposed his and Hidden's attack methods, and his intuition once again told him that he had to leave this place. "Leave? Weren't you looking for the pufferfish whale?" Hidden belatedly realized that he had been locked onto. Kakuzu didn't want to explain further and was about to use ninjutsu to escape when a golden chopstick interrupted his hand seals. Now that the story has progressed this far, feel free to discuss the Naruto plot in the comments section. What do you think the capture levels of the 19 Tails would be? Seeing that the time was ripe, Chihiro no longer hesitated to attack Kazuya and Hidden. At the same time, he raised his left and right hands, and the two golden chopsticks stabbed towards Hidden and Kakuzu respectively. One of the arrows interrupted Kakuzu, who was forming hand seals to try and escape, while the other attacked Hidden, who was completely unprepared. Whoosh! The chopsticks moved incredibly fast as if they were about to slice through the air. Kakuzu reacted the fastest and had no choice but to abandon the hand seals and dodge the chopsticks' attack. Hidden didn't react. Or rather, he didn't want to react. He felt that nothing could kill him. However, Qianyi's chopsticks were not intended to kill them, but only to achieve the purpose of acupressure. Acupressure with chopsticks. Hidden was surprised to find that he could not move his body. "What is this? Why can't I move? What did you do to me?" Hidden asked in surprise, looking at Chihiro, who was walking towards him step by step. Qianyi walked up to the immobilized Hidden, looked at Kakuzu, who was wary and keeping his distance, and said, "Pressure point strikes paralyze the body's motor nerves, rendering the target unable to move for a short or long time. You possess immortality, so any attack is ineffective against you. Even if your body is cut into pieces, you can recover with Kakuzu's help. Am I right? Who are you?" Hidden panicked this time. Qianyi remained calm and continued, "My name is Qianyi and I am a gourmet hunter. It's not my place to deal with wanted criminals, but Minister John came to my door in person and I couldn't refuse, so I had no choice but to arrest you. Now, Kakuzu, you're the only one left. Will you come back with me yourself or do I have to do it?" After saying that, Qianyi smiled slightly at Kakuzu. However, this smile seemed so eerie to Kakuzu. "So he's Qianyi, I didn't expect him to come here to catch pufferfish whales too." The onlookers quickly recognized Qianyi and began to discuss him in surprise. Qianyi's name is already well known in the gourmet hunter industry, and even Toriko, one of the four Heavenly Kings, has heard of him. Was it him who successfully captured the rainbow fruit of the 8th courtyard? Toriko asked. "I can't see any signs of death. This person is very strong," Koko murmured as she looked at Qianyi. Komatsu was very excited to see Chihiro again and exclaimed, "Wow, it's Mr. Chihiro, I never expected to meet him here." Toriko-san, this is Mr. Chihiro, who captured the Gara crocodile before. "Let me tell you, he's amazing." Komatsu, you don't need to get so excited. I've already heard that he's amazing," Toriko said. As the surrounding crowd discussed the matter, the battle between Qianyi and Kakuzu had already begun. Seeing that he could not escape, Kakuzu had no choice but to bite the bullet and go for it. Kakuzu immediately unleashed his signature move, leaping into the air and forming hand seals. Fire, release, head carving. Immediately, a vast expanse of flames resembling seawater was released from the mouth of the Earth Grudge Fear Fire Release Mask monster. After the flames hit the ground, they spread rapidly in all directions. Some bystanders who were nearby were almost burned by the flames and hurriedly retreated more than 10 meters. However, Kakuzu's attack did not end there. After the flames spread around, he used another ninjutsu. Wind release, wind dance. Building upon fire release, he used wind release, which caused the surrounding flames to expand again, making the fire even more intense. In an instant, the surroundings turned into a sea of fire, and Hidden, who was unable to move, was also affected. "You be asterisk 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 D Kakuzu, are you planning to burn me to death too? Ouch, it's hot," Hidden shouted. Looking at the sea of fire before him, Qianyi nodded and said, "A very good attack method. Ninjutsu is indeed a magical thing. It's just a pity that it requires hand seals, so it can only be used for small-scale attacks. Well then, let me show you the power of gourmet cells." As soon as he finished speaking, another chopstick flew out of Qianyi's hand. It was only 1 meter long when it was first released from my hand, but it grew larger and larger until it was 10 meters long. Culinary techniques, rotating chopsticks. The giant chopsticks spun on the ground, extinguishing the flames created by Kakuzu in an instant. The flames died down and Qianyi smiled at Kakuzu, saying, "Is that all the strength you have? Looks like you're not so great after all." Kakuzu had never been looked down upon like this before, and in his anger he began to form hand seals again. Lightning release, false darkness. This time a sharp lightning spear was released from the mouth of the Kakuzu Earth Grudge Fear lightning release masked monster and stabbed fiercely towards Qianyi. The power of the lightning was astonishing. It pierced through a huge rock along its path. Qianyi stood still, neither dodging nor flinching. He retrieved the golden chopsticks from before, took a step back with his right foot, and then raised his right hand to throw the retrieved chopsticks out suddenly. Culinary techniques, chopstick cannon. Kakuzu's lightning shield is incredibly powerful, but Sen's chopstick cannon is even more formidable. Boom! The moment Qianyi threw the chopstick cannon, the surrounding air seemed to freeze. The golden chopsticks, radiating dazzling light, shattered Kakuzu's thunder shield completely. While thwarting Kakuzu's attack, the power of the chopstick cannon did not diminish much, piercing through Kakuzu's body before he could react. The chopstick's cannon was too fast, and since it was Kakuzu's first time fighting someone who used food-based weapons, he couldn't react at all, let alone form hand seals to defend himself. Kakuzu lowered his head, looking at his pierced heart with an expression of disbelief. "Wow, so fast, is this what a real gourmet hunter is like?" After saying this, Kakuzu swayed and fell to the ground. Those around him saw that Kakuzu's heart had been pierced and thought he was surely going to die. But Qianyi knew that the old man was faking his death. "Stop playing dead, you can fool others but you can't fool me." While speaking, Qianyi also kicked the corner of his head a few times. Kakuzu remained motionless, lying on the ground, wondering how Chihiro knew he was faking his death. "You're not getting up, huh? Fine, I'll destroy the rest of your hearts too." Upon hearing this, Kakuzu hurriedly scrambled to his feet, his green eyes filled with fear as he looked at Qianyi. How do you know I have 5 hearts? Is it so hard to know your secrets? I know all the secrets of everyone else. Tell me, besides you and Kakuzu, who else has come to the human world?" "The human world?" Kakuzu looked bewildered. Qianyi then realized that this guy came from the land of ninjas and was not clear about some things in the world of gluttony. So they changed their approach to asking the question. "Who else from Akatsuki besides you and Kakuzu came here from the land of ninja? Besides Hidden and me, there's Orochimaru and the others will be arriving soon." "Orochimaru, why isn't he with you?" "Orochimaru has left Akatsuki and joined the Gourmet Club." "What did you say? Orochimaru joined the Gourmet Club?" Qianyi asked in surprise. Orochimaru's identity needs no further explanation. He was a mad scientist who firmly believed that science is the primary productive force, and science can change destiny even before the land of ninja joined IGO. In the Naruto storyline, he actually accomplished a great feat by going against the grain. In the ninja world, where everyone wants to become Hokage, only Orochimaru is obsessed with scientific research. And not only is he obsessed with it, he also has extremely high talent in this area. The small size of the land of ninjas limited Orochimaru's potential, but this world here gives him ample room to grow, especially the gourmet gathering, which provides him with more opportunities. The combination of forbidden techniques and gourmet cells, ferocious beasts and forbidden techniques, and even the image of Orochimaru controlling hundreds of GT robots to destroy the entire ninja world flashed through Qianyi's mind. From Qianyi's perspective, the fact that an ambitious guy like Orochimaru joined the Gourmet Club is definitely not a good thing. It could become a major hidden danger. According to Kakuzu, other members of the Akatsuki organization will gradually enter the human world. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel a headache coming on. However, it was only for a moment before Qianyi was no longer troubled. With so many powerful individuals in IGO, it's impossible for them to allow members of the Akatsuki organization to run rampant. Putting everything else aside, the few people from Zero Realm who arrived later were enough to suppress Xiao and his group, not to mention the powerful Man Yilong. So what if it's Orochimaru? So what if it's the Rinnegan? In the face of absolute power, everything is meaningless. After asking the questions, Qianyi used acupressure on Kakuzu and waited for John Reese to come and take the two away. During this process, Xiaosong took the initiative to go up and greet Qianyi. "Mr. Qianyi, I never expected to see you here," Xiaosong said excitedly as he approached Qianyi. Qianyi looked at Xiaosong and smiled, saying, "Xiaosong, long time no see. Did you come to catch pufferfish whales this time too?" I came with Mr. Toriko and Mr. Koko. "We didn't plan to catch anything. We just wanted to see this ingredient," Komatsu said with a simple smile. Qianyi then turned his gaze to Toriko and Koko and took the initiative to greet them, saying, "Toriko and Koko, I have long admired your names. It is my honor to meet you two here. You're pretty amazing too, you subdued two criminals so easily. I've heard a lot about your exploits from Komatsu," Toriko said with a smile. Koko didn't speak but stared at Qianyi, scrutinizing him. "Mr. Chio, you're also trying to catch a pufferfish whale, right? Why don't you join Mr. Toriko and Mr. Koko? If we all work together, we'll definitely be able to reach the cave beach," Komatsu suggested. Both Chio and Toriko were taken aback, not expecting Komatsu to suddenly say something like that. "Shall we act together? I'm fine with that." Qianyi immediately expressed his opinion, and after speaking, he glanced at Koko and Toriko. Insight. Qianyi secretly used his innate ability to check the information of the two culinary kings in front of him. The detailed information presented to Qianyi indicated that the two individuals were currently weaker than him. Toriko, cell level 25. Koko, cell level 27. Although his cell level is lower than Qianyi's, his row of innate abilities and the potential of the gourmet cell demon are truly enviable. In particular, the three gourmet cell demons within Toriko's body will be invincible once they awaken, even across the entire planet and the universe. Qianyi withdrew her insight and came to her senses. Toriko hesitated after hearing this as he didn't like hunting ingredients with unfamiliar people. Unexpectedly, a silent Koko suddenly spoke up. "Let's go together and then split up once we reach the cave beach and find the pufferfish whale." Koko. Toriko looked at Koko with surprise, and from Koko's gaze he had an epiphany. "All right, let's go together," Toriko said. "Great, let's go in quickly," Xiaosong said happily. Qianyi smiled faintly, glanced at Koko, then took Kobayashi Rindu's hand and introduced, "I forgot to introduce you, this is my partner, Kobayashi Rindu." "Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you," Kobayashi Rindu said politely. "Oh, it's nice to meet you, you're a chef just like Komatsu." "That makes the chances of catching the pufferfish whale even better," Toriko said with a smile. Koko, one of the four heavenly kings of gourmet food. Like Toriko and the others, he is a disciple of Ikaryu. He possesses exceptional talent in poison and divination, and has a pair of powerful eyes with numerous special abilities, including extremely strong eyesight. Influenced by the demonic food cells in his body, the number of cone cells and receptor cells in his eyes far exceeds that of ordinary people, and his vision can reach an impressive 10-0, which is more than 10 times that of ordinary people. It can also see electromagnetic waves such as infrared and ultraviolet rays that are invisible to ordinary people. He also used this ability to observe the electromagnetic waves emitted by living or non-living things to perform divination, and could even see the death of living things. Koko, Toriko, and Komatsu arrived here and witnessed the deaths of many people along the way, including Komatsu, who was with her. However, after encountering Qianyi, Xiaosong's deathly appearance began to weaken. This is why Koko took the initiative to invite Qianyi to join them and travel together. When Qianyi agreed to travel with them, the deathly appearance on Xiaosong's body completely disappeared. At that moment, Koko realized that Qianyi's strength surpassed both hers and Toriko's. After a while, a military transport plane appeared in the sky. A man in a suit with a serious expression stepped off the plane. It turns out he was from the Legal Affairs Bureau, here to detain Kakuzu and Hidden. The man from the Legal Affairs Bureau thanked Qianyi and greeted the two heavenly kings before escorting Kakuzu and Hidden, who had been acupunctured, onto the plane and leaving. Then, Qianyi and the other four walked toward the entrance to the cave beach. To reach the beach where pufferfish whales spawn, one must pass through this maze-like cave. This cave is like a maze, stretching over 10 kilometers in length and reaching a depth of 800 meters. Even professional gourmet hunters can only reach it successfully by 0.1% of the time. Qianyi was initially worried about whether she could find the right path. Now that Toriko and Coco are leading the way, all the problems will be solved. The danger of the cave beach lies not only in its labyrinthine interior, but also in the various ferocious beasts lurking within, most notably the demonic serpent, a beast from hell. Qianyi and his group of 5 arrived at the entrance to the cave beach. The enormous entrance, pitch black, resembled the gaping maw of a monster awaiting its prey. A chilling aura swept over him, causing Xiaosong to shiver involuntarily, and a sense of dread spread through his heart. Komatsu unconsciously gripped his exploration gear tightly. Seeing how nervous Xiaosong was, Qianyi gently patted his shoulder and said, "Don't be nervous, relax. As long as you stay behind us, nothing will happen." Upon hearing Qianyi's words, Xiaosong's tension immediately dissipated by more than half. Okay, Mr. Qianyi. Speaking of which, Mr. Qianyi, didn't you prepare anything?" Komatsu asked, looking at Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu who had nothing in their hands. Even Toriko and Coco prepared essential tools such as ropes, searchlights, and tranquilizer guns. Qianyi didn't speak but smiled slightly and raised her right hand, gently sliding it in the air. Then a purple opening appeared in the air, revealing an entrance to an alternate dimension. Upon seeing this, Toriko, Coco, and Komatsu were surprised once again. "This is it, the space. It has been separated." Qianyi took out 2 special exploration lamps from the cut-open space and explained, "This is my special ability, spatial power, which allows me to cut open space anytime and anywhere to store items, ingredients, and so on. You can think of it as me having a spatial warehouse." After taking out what he needed, Qianyi waved his right hand, and the space that had been cut open returned to its original state. Toriko and Coco came to their senses one after the other, and even they who were well-informed were surprised by Chihiro's special abilities. Can a 4-separate space? Qianyi, what kind of gourmet hunter is he, and what level of strength has he reached? It's completely unfathomable. At this moment, Qianyi became even more mysterious in the eyes of the 2 heavenly kings. "What amazing abilities, Mr. Qianyi, you are truly incredible," Xiaosong exclaimed. Qianyi smiled faintly and said nothing. Before entering the cave, Qianyi found a huge rock at the entrance. Qianyi stretched out his palm and left a purple mark on the stone. The mark shimmered on the stone for a moment before disappearing. After completing this task, Qianyi and his group officially began their journey into the cave. Inside the cave, everyone except Coco was holding an adventure lamp. Coco walked at the very front of everyone, leading the way. This pitch-black space, where you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, was as bright as day to Coco. Upon entering the cave, you'll see many crackling mushrooms growing next to the rocks. The gluttonous Toriko couldn't resist anything edible, grabbing a few mushrooms and stuffing them into his mouth. The Gaba Gaba mushroom is a type of mushroom that grows in dark and damp places. It is a level 1 mushroom. Like Matsutake, it is a basidiomycete belonging to the family Tricholamataceae. As its name suggests, it makes a crackling sound when eaten raw. This hard mushroom can be softened by scalding it with hot water. However, due to the thought that this tastes pretty good, the method of eating them raw without scalding them is more popular. Skewers of raw mushrooms sprinkled with a little salt and pepper are a common dish on the menus of gourmet bars and restaurants. Qianyi stepped forward, picked a few, and put them in her mouth. The crunchy texture and taste were quite good. "Genshin, you should try some too." "Okay, come on, I'll feed you, open your mouth." Continuing to explore towards the cave entrance, they soon encountered a group of centipedes entrenched in the cave. Giant centipedes, as their name suggests, can reach 8 meters in length and are myriapod arthropods. Although it lacks sharp teeth, claws, and venom, it coils into a spiral shape and emits a strong stench when attacked. Its taste is similar to that of a partridge, but due to its ugly appearance, it is avoided as an ingredient. However, it is still loved by some gourmets with unique tastes. It has a capture level of only 1, but it is a social creature. There was no need for Qianyi to make a move. Qi could simply use the poison in his own body to scare the centipede away. Continuing on, they encountered a creature even more disgusting than the giant centipede, a scorpion cockroach. Scorpion cockroaches, like giant centipedes, are social creatures with a capture level of 7, giant cockroaches with potent venom. Their bizarre appearance, extremely high reproductive rate, and gregarious behavior amplify their grotesqueness when they appear in groups. It frequently tops the list of creatures you don't want to capture, published annually by the IGO. The habitat of scorpions and cockroaches is a necessary route to the spawning grounds of pufferfish and whales. Qianyi held Longdon's hand and had no intention of making a move because he knew that Keek would handle it. "Let me do it." Coco removed the headscarf that was binding her head and then jumped into the scorpion cockroach nest. Komatsu, unaware of Coco's special abilities, screamed in fright. "Ah, Mr. Coco, what are you doing? Come back quickly." However, the scorpion cockroach did not pounce on Coco. Instead, it began to retreat. These scorpions and cockroaches retreated. Genshin asked in surprise. Qianyi explained that's because they sensed danger and detected the deadly poison in Coco. Huh, highly poisonous? Xiaosong asked again, puzzled. Toriko explained, most of us gourmet hunters are poisonous. We slowly inject small amounts of the toxins from poisonous insects, snakes, and plants in nature into our bodies to artificially create antibodies. There are thousands of types of toxins in nature, so it's impossible to create antibodies. I only have 70 types, while Coco has more than 500 types of antibodies in her body, which is rare among all gourmet hunters. For this reason, Coco became an outcast. Meanwhile, many scientists and IGO police officers have repeatedly pursued Coco, wanting to use his blood to create a new serum. Coco herself, being a level 1 dangerous creature, was almost quarantined. For this reason, Coco gave up her job as a gourmet hunter. Since then, Coco has lived alone in a secluded place, which has led to her current, rather lonely state of mind. After learning about Coco's past, Kobayashi Rindu couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy for him. I never thought that Coco, one of the 4 heavenly kings of gourmet food, would have such troubles. Qianyi smiled and said, it's not just Coco, we all have our own troubles, we just don't show them. Really? Then what's troubling you? I'd like to know. Longden gave Qianyi a sly smile. Qianyi pretended to think for a moment, then revealed a mischievous smile and said, my problem is that I'm too strong. You always cry and beg for mercy. Kobayashi Rindu's face flushed red instantly, and she kept punching Qianyi's chest with her pink fists. All right, I'm not teasing you anymore. Qianyi grabbed Kobayashi Rindu's hand and said seriously, my problem is that I am too weak and do not have enough ability to protect you. You, besides me, who else do you want to protect? Kobayashi Rindu looked at Qianyi suspiciously. Qianyi feigned composure and said, don't overthink it, I was referring to you and my friend. Right now, we're not even qualified to go to many places in the human realm, let alone the gourmet world. Let's find the pufferfish whale and eat it to upgrade our cell level. Yes, Kobayashi Rindu nodded. Qianyi and Longden walked at the very back, Coco walked at the very front, and Toriko and Komatsu walked in the middle of the 2 groups. After learning about Coco's situation, Xiaosong was overcome with sympathy. When they were about to slide down a cave more than 100 meters deep, he was not worried at all about the deadly poison on Coco's body and jumped onto Coco's back. Coco understood that Xiaosong was comforting him in this way, helping him to escape loneliness. Coco was deeply moved by Xiaosong's actions and kindness. It was precisely because of this kindness that Komatsu became the exclusive chef for the 4 heavenly kings, achieving such great success at the end of the story. Whether you're a gourmet hunter or a chef, hard work and talent are certainly important. But on this path full of challenges and opportunities, there are some indispensable factors, and conscience is one of them. Qianyi is not a bad person, nor is he the kind of saint who saves everyone he meets. He only asks to be true to his conscience and to be worthy of heaven and earth. Meanwhile, in the GT robot control room of the 6th branch of the Gourmet Club. At this moment, 2 people are controlling the GT robot in the control room. One of them is Godot, who was defeated by Qianyi last time, and the other is outside the control room. A man with a cane, a wrinkled face, and a mouth that looked like it had been sewn shut was looking around the monitoring room. This person is called Qianyi, a member of the 6th branch, and also the maker of GT robots and various weapons. Although she is not the branch leader but just an ordinary member, she is somewhat famous because she has developed many things that can help with food. As a newcomer, Orochimaru has already mastered the operation of GT robots, and he has also learned how to build them. Before long, the Gourmet Society's R&D department will have another researcher. Qianyi said, looking at Orochimaru in the monitoring room. That's right, the other person controlling the GT robot at this moment is Orochimaru, who has only recently joined the Gourmet Club. Although Orochimaru is a newcomer, he has an extremely high talent for science, and with Qianyi's guidance, his progress can be described as leaps and bounds. Qianyi thought that Orochimaru only joined the Gourmet Club to learn about GT robot technology. However, Orochimaru's ambitions went far beyond that. Gourmet cells, regeneration technology, and methods for injecting gourmet cells all piqued his curiosity. The Gourmet Society is seen as an evil and fearsome organization by others, but Orochimaru sees it as a paradise that can make him stronger and grant him immortality. turning back to Qianyi and his group. After nearly 2 hours, the group was very close to the cave beach. After sliding down a 100-meter-long cave, the group saw many fireflies appear in front of them. In the pitch-black cave, these firefly-like figures were very conspicuous. Hey, what are these glowing creatures that look like fireflies? Xiaosong was like a curious child, very curious about the unknown. This is a sea firefly, capture level 1. It is an insect that usually lives in the sea and can make the surrounding area brighter. It has a special protein on its abdomen that can emit light, making it 10 times brighter than a regular firefly. Qianyi looked at the sea fireflies around him and said, "The sea fireflies gathering here means we are not far from the spawning grounds of the pufferfish whales." Qianyi is right. I can also smell the saltiness of the seawater, Toriko said. As they continued onward, a swarm of startled swallowtail butterflies and bats rushed towards them. So many bats. Xiaosong crouched down to protect his head from being attacked by swallowtail bats. Qianyi and Longden conjured their respective food-based weapons to capture the oncoming swallowtail bats. The swallowtail bat, a level 2 predator. Due to its habit of group behavior and its naturally timid nature, it rarely poses a threat to other creatures except when hunting for food. Why would such a timid predator choose to attack us? Toriko asked in bewilderment. The question was answered quickly. A colossal creature appeared in front of the 5 people. This creature has a huge head with 3 eyes on its hairy head. These 3 eyeballs locked onto Qianyi and his group. The overlord of this cave has appeared, the demon serpent. The demon serpent, a legendary monster from hell, possesses infrared sensors that detect the location of its prey by sensing heat and can accurately shoot its deadly venom. These features make it extremely difficult for gourmet hunters to fight it in the dark. Furthermore, even when injured, the demon serpent can immediately generate omnipotent cells, allowing its body to regenerate instantly. Therefore, when capturing it, one must possess the power to destroy its pluripotent cells, as well as a highly technical impact. The demon serpent living on the cave beach has a capture level of 21, while an even more powerful demon serpent lives in the gourmet world, with a capture level of 5100 and the strength to fight against the 8 kings. Toriko and Coco's expressions changed drastically when they saw the giant demon serpent before them. This cave really does house a giant demonic serpent. This guy looks like trouble. Coco and Toriko prepared for battle, watching the giant demon serpent warily. The demonic serpent showed no fear of the people before it and let out a deafening roar. The sound startled the other gourmet hunters who had entered the area earlier. The demonic serpent is here too. From the cave behind Qianyi and the others, a tall gourmet hunter with a scarred face and a fierce expression ran out. The food hunter, dressed in adventure gear and clutching a large machete, was panting heavily. In the original story, when Toriko and Coco were focused on dealing with the demon Orochi, they didn't pay attention to Komatsu, giving the gourmet hunter an opportunity to take Komatsu away. If it weren't for meeting Gyro and receiving a bottle of sake on the train, Komatsu would have lost his life there. The fact that this scarred-faced gourmet hunter was able to overcome so many dangers to reach this place proves that he has some skill, surpassing most of the gourmet hunters here. There's a demonic serpent here too. Scarface, the gourmet hunter, was startled when he saw the giant demon serpent blocking Toriko and Coco's path. He fled to this place in a panic because he was being chased by another demonic serpent. Now he was surrounded by demonic serpents, and for a moment he was stunned and didn't know what to do. His gaze quickly fell on Xiaosong, who looked weak and powerless, and a wicked smile appeared on his lips. I've got an idea, I'll use this kid. In the original story, Komatsu was kidnapped by this guy and then thrown to the demon serpent as food. If it weren't for Komatsu's good fortune and the help of benefactors, he would have already become food for the demon serpent. Kid, use you to shut the demon serpent's mouth and buy me time to leave, the scarred man said, lunging at Xiaosong. Komatsu was completely unprepared and stared blankly in the direction of Toriko and Coco. Are you pretending I don't exist? Qianyi, of course, would not stand idly by. With a wave of his right hand, he sent the scarred man flying several meters away, rolling several times on the ground before hurriedly getting up. Damn it, this person is so strong. Seeing that he had failed, the scarred man turned and ran into the cave. A short while later, his screams echoed from inside the cave. Ah! The sound was extremely tragic and one could faintly hear the sound of bones breaking. Soon, another demonic serpent appeared behind Qianyi. Roar. The demonic serpent roared fiercely at Qianyi and his companions. Near the snake's mouth, there were fragments of the scarred man's clothes. When Xiaosong saw another giant demonic snake appear behind him, he turned pale with fright and trembled on the spot. Another one. Another one, two giant demonic serpents. Qianyi examined the demonic serpent and noticed many scars on its body. These scars were left from battles with its own kind or from gourmet hunters. This is a battle-hardened demon serpent, different from the one Toriko and Coco fought. It is much stronger. Zio Song, find a safe place to hide. Long Dan will deal with this guy with me, Qianyi said. All right. Kobayashi Rindu came to Qianyi's side, a dining knife already materializing in his hand. With Qianyi's strength, dealing with this demonic serpent would be a piece of cake. Calling Longden was just to give her more practical experience in fighting ferocious beasts. Roar. The demonic serpent roared once more, and the next second its sharp claws lashed out at Qianyi. Qianyi remained calm and raised her right hand, waving out a golden chopstick. A single chopstick, a 5-meter-long chopstick, was thrown out and met the claws of the demonic serpent. Boom! A huge explosion echoed through the cave. As the smoke cleared, it was revealed that the demonic serpent's claws had been blown to pieces. Despite its extensive combat experience, this demonic serpent is not significantly stronger than other demonic serpents, at most reaching capture level 27. Qianyi's strength is more than twice that of the serpent. The seemingly casual chopstick he used earlier possessed a power that this demonic serpent could not withstand. Roar! The demonic serpent, wounded, unleashed its full beastly nature, letting out a series of ferocious roars. The next second, the claws that had been injured by the explosion were completely healed in an instant. Kobayashi Rindu was startled upon seeing this. The wound has healed. Qianyi explained, this is the unique ability of the demon serpent's cells, regeneration. As long as it's not a fatal wound, it can recover in a short time. It's precisely because of this terrifying regenerative ability that the demon serpent is unrivaled among beasts of the same level. Therefore, to kill it completely, we must use a powerful and destructive move to severely damage its cells and prevent them from regenerating. Longden, try to launch an attack with your strongest move and I'll cover you. Good. The Genshin conjured a weapon of culinary magic and charged swiftly toward the demonic serpent. Culinary techniques. Knife. Longden held nothing back, conjuring a 5-meter-long Western-style dinner knife and leaped down to slash fiercely at the body of the demon serpent. A length of 5 meters is the limit for Genshin. However, just as the Western-style dinner knife was about to strike the demon serpent's body, its body suddenly contracted. It shrinks its elastic skin to the extreme, thereby increasing its hardness and durability, which puts the Genshin, which is inherently weaker than it, at a disadvantage. Bite. The knife cut about 3 centimeters into the snakeskin but could not go any further. Not only that, Longden felt as if he had struck a block of iron and his arm went numb. Roar. The demonic serpent roared and slashed its claws fiercely at the dragon's gall. The Genshin immediately dodged but was still swatted away by the claw. Qianyi leaped lightly and caught the dragon gall falling from the sky. It's still a bit of a stretch. This demonic serpent is too powerful for you. Just rest quietly to the side and let me handle it, Qianyi said softly to the dragon gall in his arms. Longden understood that even her full-force attack had only caused superficial wounds to the demon serpent. It was no longer a beast she could handle. Fortunately, the demon serpent's attack only caused Genshin a minor injury, and he was otherwise unharmed. When hunting for food, encountering such dangerous beasts, injury is inevitable. Although Qianyi understood this, his face darkened when he saw the blood spilling from Longden's mouth. Only by eating your flesh and drinking your blood can I vent my hatred. You demonic serpent, rest assured, from now on your flesh and blood will become a part of my body, and we will explore this world together. So, with gratitude for this world, I begin. After putting his hands together in prayer, Qianyi launched a swift and decisive attack on the demon serpent. Culinary techniques, continuous chopstick use. The 2 chopsticks transformed into dense raindrops, continuously slapping against the body of the demon serpent. The demonic serpent that reigned supreme in this cave was utterly powerless against Qianyi's onslaught. First, use chopsticks to pound the ingredients to soften the meat. This is a technique that Qianyi often uses. The demon serpent, which originally had purple skin, began to turn red under the continuous attacks of the chopsticks. The knocking is almost done, now it's time for seasoning. Let's use the wings of the swallowtail bats we just caught. After Qianyi finished speaking, he crushed the wings of several swallowtail butterflies and bats and scattered them into the sky. Almost simultaneously, several chopsticks, each 1 meter long, were swung out. Culinary techniques, seasoning chopsticks. The wings of swallowtail bats are not only beautiful in appearance, but the scales attached to their wings are also widely used to make spices. These delicious scales, known as swallowtail bat spices, have become an essential ingredient for most chefs. Qianyi crushed the wings of the swallowtail bat and scattered them in the air, then used his eating technique. Culinary techniques: seasoning chopsticks. A dozen chopsticks were swung out in an instant, and as they darted through the air, they were coated with the spices of swallowtail butterflies and bats. And so, the chopsticks laden with spices were plunged fiercely into the demon serpent. At this moment, the demonic serpent is like food on a chopping board, and these chopsticks are like the nails used to hold the food in place. Sniff, sniff. A dozen chopsticks were pierced into different parts of the demon serpent's body, firmly fixing it to the wall. The immobilized demon serpent let out an even more ferocious roar, but no matter how hard it tried, it could not break free from the chopstick's grip. Marinating complete, such an attack was not enough to defeat the demon serpent. This is the final blow. After Qianyi finished speaking, he conjured a 10-meter-long chopstick and aimed it at the head of the demon serpent. Boom! The final, powerful blow pierced through the head of the demon serpent. The attack was deadly and domineering. Even with its regenerative abilities, the demon serpent could not heal the wound. The demon serpent has been captured. Qianyi ended the battle very easily, but it wasn't so easy for Toriko and Coco. Even when the two joined forces, they were still suppressed by the demon serpent. After a fierce battle lasting more than 10 minutes, Coco created an antibody to fight the demon serpent. After being poisoned by Coco, the demon serpent was briefly paralyzed and lost its ability to move, which bought Toriko time. Toriko seized the opportunity to use his 5-pronged nail punch to shatter the body of the demon serpent. The snake meat was shredded into countless pieces and scattered all over the ground. The giant demon serpent that Toriko and Coco defeated was already in pieces, and coupled with Coco's deadly poison, it was no longer edible. On the other hand, the demonic serpent that Qianyi had captured was becoming increasingly delicious. Besides capturing the pufferfish whale, the demon serpent was also one of Qianyi's targets on this trip to the cave beach. The flesh of the demon serpent is also a rare delicacy. Let's all try it. Qianyi invited everyone. Without needing to say a word, Kobayashi Rindu took out the kitchen knife he always carried and began to process the flesh of the demon serpent. Komatsu was stunned for a moment before he realized what was happening, and then took out a kitchen knife to help process the gentian. Two chefs worked together to prepare the demon serpent, and soon the fragrant roasted demon serpent was ready. Qianyi used the power of space to take out a dining table and tableware from the storage space. The group sat around the dining table and began to enjoy the delicious roasted meat from the demon serpent. Qianyi is the first person to be able to set up a dining table in this cave and taste the flesh of the cave's overlord, the demon serpent. During the capture of the demon serpent, Chiyo processed the meat and seasoned it. After being processed by Kobayashi Rindu and Komatsu, the flavor was even better. No wonder it has such a unique aroma. It's because they put chopped crunchy mushrooms into the snake meat, which enhances both the flavor and texture. I'm grateful for all the ingredients in this world. I'll dig in. Qianyi picked up a large piece of snake meat and put it in her mouth. The unique aroma immediately exploded on her tongue. Snake meat is delicate and elastic, which pairs perfectly with the texture of crunchy mushrooms. The grilling temperature was just right, and all the meat juices were coated inside. Delicious! The meat of the demon serpent is even more delicious than that of the Galacrond. It's really good, Qianyi praised. Toriko and Coco had just exhausted a lot of energy in the battle and were also injured. After eating the flesh of the demon serpent, their wounds healed quickly, and their gourmet cell levels were also upgraded. Of course, Qianyi was no exception. This was the first time he had eaten the demon serpent, and his cell level had also been slightly improved. While enjoying the meal, Toriko took out a few bottles of wine and drank them, handing one of them to Qianyi. Qianyi smiled and declined, saying, "Thank you, but I don't drink." "Hey, you don't drink?" Toriko was surprised. Even a gourmet hunter like Coco would occasionally have a few drinks, so why didn't Qianyi drink? A non-alcoholic gourmet hunter, Toriko and Coco recall a second person. That is their father, Ikaryu. However, even Yi Long drinks alcohol sometimes, but because he has a very low alcohol tolerance, he almost never drinks at all. Faced with everyone's surprise, Qianyi smiled and explained, "I don't like the taste of alcohol, and alcohol can affect the brain's reaction speed, so I'll use tea instead of alcohol." With that, Qianyi downed the cup of tea that had been prepared on the table in one gulp. After the group finished eating the entire demon serpent, they continued their journey towards the cave beach. After this incident, Toriko and Coco had a new perspective on Chihiro and felt more respect for him. Continuing forward, we soon arrived at our destination, the cave beach. As everyone walked in, they were immediately captivated by the beautiful scenery before them. "This is the cave beach, it's so beautiful." Kobayashi Rindu exclaimed. Looking at the beautiful scenery before him, Qianyi couldn't help but exclaim, "It truly is a hidden paradise." Inside the spacious cave, countless fireflies danced and twinkled like stars, illuminating the once dark cave as if it were daytime. The crystals on the cave ceiling, illuminated by the fireflies, shone brilliantly, like the Milky Way reflected on the ground. The surrounding rocks appeared exceptionally smooth under the light. In the distance lies a shallow beach with crystal-clear water where various fish frolic. The glow of fireflies illuminated this area, making the water shimmer. Absolutely stunning. The caves we had been in all along were pitch black, and we could only use exploration lamps for lighting, but we no longer needed them at this point. Ah, I see pufferfish whales, there are so many. Xiaosong arrived at the shallows and immediately spotted the pufferfish whales in the sea. Besides pufferfish and whales, there are many other high-end ingredients in this shallow sea. What are you waiting for? Let's go down and capture them. Toriko said, taking off his upper body clothes and preparing to go into the water. Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu had been preparing for the capture of the pufferfish whale for over a month. They had waited far too long for this day. Genshin, I'm going down to catch a pufferfish whale. I'll leave the cooking to you. After Qianyi finished speaking to Longden, he also took off his up-body clothes, revealing a well-built physique that was not commensurate with his age. In order to successfully capture the pufferfish whale, Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu prepared for more than a month. The pufferfish whale was originally a giant fish with a body length of over 6 meters, but through years of evolution, its body has been compressed and shrunk to only about 50 cm. As the body shrinks, toxins accumulate and form toxic sacs. The poison bag must not be broken during the handling of pufferfish whales, and the same applies during capture. Pufferfish whales are extremely timid and will die immediately if startled, as their venom sacs will rupture. The capture process is a challenge, and the processing process is an even greater challenge. Approaching pufferfish recklessly will only frighten them, leading to poisoning and death. During this month, Qianyi consulted and learned from typing the technique of concealing his killing intent, which was called disappearing life. Although it's just a skill, not a natural talent, it's still not easy to learn. Qianyi practiced repeatedly for a long time before she gradually mastered it. Xiaming, just as its name suggests, hides its life force. The signs of life were concealed, and so was the murderous aura. Qianyi looked at Toriko and Coco, who were still preparing, took a deep breath and jumped into the sea. Once you reach the seabed, you can see many creatures that inhabit it. The underwater light is much brighter and more abundant than on the surface of the sea. Colorful schools of fish dart among the corals, along with shellfish, seaweed, and other creatures. Among them are higher-end items such as squid-tail tuna, arowana, and bullhorn shark. These are all very delicious seafood ingredients. If Qianyi weren't busy catching pufferfish whales, she really wanted to catch all the food here. The main task is still the pufferfish whale. After Qianyi swam past a huge rock, he saw the pufferfish whale. Everything in sight was white. They're all pufferfish whales. What an astonishing number. Your life is over. Qianyi concealed his aura, his entire being seemingly becoming one with the seawater. After eliminating its scent, it cautiously approached a pufferfish whale. Qianyi held the small chopsticks she had prepared beforehand in her hand, chopstick acupressure. Under seawater, the resistance can cause deviations in acupressure points. In response to this situation, Qianyi conducted countless training sessions to ensure that he would not make a mistake in any of his attacks. Swoosh. Without the pufferfish whale being aware of its presence, chopsticks were inserted into the area below its gills. Immediately, the pufferfish whale stopped swimming. No poisoning occurred, the acupressure was successful. One pufferfish whale is definitely not enough. Even if Kobayashi Rindu made preparations to treat the pufferfish whale, the success rate of completely detoxifying the pufferfish whale is only about 10%. In other words, Qianyi would need to catch at least 10 pufferfish before he could possibly taste the deliciousness of a pufferfish whale. Qianyi wasted no time and quickly anesthetized more than 20 pufferfish whales. More than 20 pufferfish whales were placed in a specially made fishing net, and Qianyi swam ashore. Call. After getting ashore, Qianyi greedily inhaled the air. Even if you have a knack for food, you can't hold your breath underwater for too long. Kobayashi Rindu and Komatsu hurriedly came to Chia's side. Wow, amazing, they actually caught so many pufferfish whales. Xiaosong exclaimed, looking at the pufferfish whales in Qianyi fishing net. Qianyi glanced around and found that Toriko and Coco were nowhere to be seen. It seemed that the two of them had also gone into the water to catch pufferfish whales. Qianyi ignored them and proceeded according to the original plan. Genshin, I'm leaving the handling of this to you. Okay, leave it to me. Kobayashi Rindu removed a pufferfish whale and laid it flat on the cutting board. Then, following the basic principles of food etiquette taught by Qianyi, he took a deep breath and put his hands together in prayer. Be grateful for all the ingredients in the world. The main purpose of repeating this sentence is to focus attention. Only by focusing attention can one possibly master the culinary art of gentian, which has not yet been fully grasped. A few seconds later, gentian suddenly opened its eyes, and a glint of light seemed to shoot from them toward the pufferfish whale on the chopping board. With her left hand holding the fish's body down, Longden steadily picked up the cleaver with her right hand and began processing it according to the method she had practiced countless times before. In her mind, she recalled the words Qianyi had spoken to her. The location of the venom sac varies from individual to individual pufferfish, so the treatment order is different for each one. The first step is to locate the venom bag of the pufferfish whale. Gentians possess a strong sense of appetite and can hear the voice of their food. They can detect the location of the poison sac simply by touching the body of a pufferfish whale. It's confirmed, the poison bag is located 5 cm below the fish's gills. When dealing with pufferfish whales, the worst thing you can do is hesitate. You have to be decisive and cut them open. Longden's mind was once again filled with the words Qianyi had said to her. Whoosh! Gentian remained unfazed and decisively made its cut. As long as the poison bag is not located at the tail of the fish, the order of cutting should be from the tail to the body and then to the head. As you cut down from the tail of the fish, the gentian experiences strong resistance. Such thick fish meat, it makes my whole body feel heavy. Prior to this, the giant tuna had been processed into a 5-ton, 12-meter-long swordfish. However, the resistance posed by the pufferfish whale, which is less than 1 meter long, far outweighs that of the tuna sailfish. Indeed, you can't judge tuna by sight, you have to rely on the feel of your hands to handle it. Cut open the fish tail, then slowly cut along the belly, making sure not to touch the poison bag during this process. After cutting open the fish's belly, the purplish-black poison sac inside could be vaguely seen. Upon seeing this, Xiaosong nervously held his breath. Next, simply make a slow pushing motion along the belly of the fish to expose the poison bag as much as possible. Gentian continued to cut carefully, but this time it went astray and he accidentally touched the poison sac. In an instant, the entire pufferfish whale turned purplish-black. Poison, processing failed. Oh, what a pity we were so close to succeeding, Xiaosong said. Qianyi smiled and said nonchalantly, It's all right, take your time. There are many more pufferfish whales down there. If there aren't enough here, I'll go catch more. Xiaosong, don't just sit there. Take a few over there and figure out how to handle them yourself. Me. Can I do it too? What if I get poisoned? Komatsu asked in surprise. Even a pufferfish like Chio, whose poison bags were not removed after acupuncture, can fetch a high price of 500 million yen. In other words, poisoning one pufferfish is equivalent to losing 500 million yen. Komatsu's current salary is only a few 100,000 yen a month, so it's no wonder he was so surprised. Qianyi saw through Xiaosong's thoughts and laughed again. Haha, pufferfish whales are indeed very valuable, but some things cannot be measured by money. Xiaosong, just go ahead and deal with the pufferfish whales without worry. It doesn't matter if they are all poisoned. After Qianyi said that, Xiaosong picked up a pufferfish and ran far away from Longden. Next, all we need to do is patiently wait for the two chefs to remove the venomous sac from the pufferfish whale. Qianyi felt that the longest thing in the world was waiting for the food to be ready. The pufferfish and whale are right in front of you, but you can't taste them immediately, which is incredibly agonizing. Qianyi simply chose not to watch, and used the time to dive into the sea and capture dozens of pufferfish whales, which she then stored in her storage space. Back on shore, Longden was still intently dealing with the pufferfish whale. Qianyi could only sit aside and watch from afar. It's become poisoned again. This is Kobayashi Rindu's 8th failure. However, each failure brought Kobayashi Rindu new insights and experiences. In the process of dealing with the pufferfish whales, Coco and Toriko went to great lengths to capture more than 10 pufferfish whales. Coco was initially in charge of dealing with the pufferfish whales, but after poisoning several, she handed the task over to Komatsu. As for the pufferfish whale that Komatsu took from Chio, it had already been poisoned. Even a chef as lucky as Komatsu, who is blessed with good fortune in the food industry, cannot succeed on his first try. Longden's forehead was covered in sweat. The continuous processing of pufferfish whales had greatly depleted her physical and mental strength, but thinking of the person she loved most who was waiting for her to finish, she concentrated again to continue processing. The initial steps went very smoothly, and soon we arrived at the final and most crucial step, removing the poison bag. Once you get here, you can no longer use a kitchen knife. You can only gently and slowly remove the membrane around the poison bag with your hands, and finally slowly remove the poison bag from the pufferfish whale's body by placing it in your hand. The entire process requires extreme care and concentration. There can be no mistakes whatsoever. A bead of sweat slowly rolled down Gentian's forehead and cheek. She carefully removed the mucous membrane around the poison bag, then gently lifted the bag with both hands. When the poison sac detached from the pufferfish whale's body, the entire whale emitted a golden glow. It worked. "You're amazing, honey," Qianyi jumped up and shouted. Kobayashi Rindu finally breathed a sigh of relief, wiped the sweat from his forehead and smiled. "Great, we finally succeeded." Qianyi excitedly hugged Longden to her chest. "Haha, I knew you would be fine, thank you for your hard work." "It's not hard work, I'm very happy right now." Kobayashi Rindu wiped away the tears of emotion that streamed down his face, looked at the glittering pufferfish whale on the cutting board and said, "There's only one last step before we can eat it. Let's wait a little longer." "Okay, honey, you've worked hard, you go ahead and I'll set the table." Qianyi raised his right hand and used the power of the space fruit to take out the dining table from his storage space again. However, this time it wasn't a multi-person table, but a couple's table just for two people. Seeing that Kobayashi Rindu had successfully killed the pufferfish whale, Toriko urged Komatsu from afar, "Keep it up, Komatsu, they've all succeeded." "Toriko, don't bother Komatsu, we can't rush dealing with the pufferfish." Koko pulled Toriko away to stop him from interfering with Komatsu. "Without comparison, there is no difference. Actually, if Kobayashi Rindu and Komatsu were to start from the same point, Rindu would be inferior to Komatsu. Whether it's talent or experience as a chef, Komatsu has the edge." Qianyi and Longden had been preparing for over a month before coming here. Gentian quickly completed the final processing, cutting the pufferfish whale into evenly sized sashimi pieces and arranging them on a plate. Then, together with Qianyi, they sat down at the couple's table and began to enjoy the delicious pufferfish whale. Although there were 3 light bulbs in the distance, it did not affect the mood of the two people at this moment. "Honey, this is the first ingredient we've caught together. It's very special, so we should commemorate this moment properly." Several candles were lit on the dining table. Qianyi deliberately placed the dining table in a darker location. Fireflies surrounded the two, emitting a green glow, while the crystal above their heads reflected the candlelight. "Beautiful scenery and delicious food, and the person I love most is by my side." At this moment, Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu felt the meaning of being a gourmet hunter-cook. "Honey, let's raise a toast to celebrate this moment." Neither of them drank alcohol. Their glasses contained juice made from platinum lemon. After clinking glasses, the two began to savor the pufferfish and whale sashimi. Qianyi was the first to pick up more than 10 slices of sashimi and put them back into her mouth. "This meat is so delicious. The aroma of the fat spreads in my mouth, and this sweet taste, unlike tuna, doesn't melt away immediately. Instead, it has a rather strong, rich flavor. The more I chew, the more intense the aroma becomes, and the taste seems to endlessly flow from the fish. A thin slice is better than countless other fish." After tasting it, Qianyi swallowed it. Suddenly, a familiar feeling washed over me again, and a current surged through my entire body and every part of it. Food cells are cheering with joy, cells have evolved. Ding, cell level has increased to level 78. It leveled up by more than 20 levels in one go. As expected of the pufferfish whale, its benefits to cells surpass those of the rainbow fruit. After consuming the gentian, the gourmet cells evolved without a doubt, reaching a cell level of 25. "Haha, how's it going, honey? How does the pufferfish you prepared taste?" "A delicacy. This is the first time I've ever had truly delicious sashimi. This is wonderful. The ingredients we caught and processed with all our might really taste the best. Together we hunt for ingredients, enjoy them together, and grow stronger together. That's the meaning of being partners." After finishing their meal, Qianyi and Longden unanimously decided to add pufferfish whale to their life menu, even though it was something they had already decided on long ago. While Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu finished eating the pufferfish whale, Toriko, Koko, and Komatsu were still processing it. More than 10 snakes had already been poisoned around them, and now only one remained in their hands. "Will they succeed?" Longden asked, linking arms with Qianyi. Qianyi smiled slightly and said, "Yes, they will. Even if this one becomes poisonous, they will still go and capture it again. Let's go, our mission here is complete." Gentian nodded gently. "Hold me tight, I'm going to use my spatial powers." After Qianyi and Longden hugged themselves tightly, they used the power of the space fruit. The third level of the space fruit, advanced space power, has the ability of instantaneous teleportation. The prerequisite is to leave a spatial imprint in the place of movement, which is very similar to the ninjutsu flying thunder god of the land of ninja. However, Qianyi's spatial movement range is only tens of kilometers, and this distance will increase as his strength improves. Qianyi hasn't tested what the current limit is yet, but there are no problems getting from the entrance of the cave beach to the spawning grounds of the pufferfish whales. In the blink of an eye, Qianyi appeared at the entrance of the cave beach, carrying the dragon gall. In the blink of an eye, Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu arrived at the entrance from their spawning grounds on the cave beach. Qianyi couldn't help but marvel once again at the convenience of the space fruit's abilities, wondering what kind of abilities would be unlocked at the next level, Master. Qianyi, look over there, Kobayashi Rindu suddenly pointed into the distance. Qianyi looked in the direction Longden was pointing and saw more than a dozen corpses lying haphazardly on the rocks, their blood staining the surroundings red. The food bandits and food killers who were lurking here have all been killed. Qianyi stepped forward to examine the bodies and found that most of them had been pierced through vital organs by a sharp weapon, such as the heart, neck, and head. Who could be so cruel as to kill them all without leaving a single one? Could there be some gourmet hunter who caught the pufferfish whale before us? Qianyi frowned slightly as he pondered, unable to think of anyone else besides Gyro. However, given Gyro's personality, he would at most anesthetize these people but would not kill them. Just as Qianyi was wondering, he discovered a strange footprint on a nearby rock. It was a creature with 4 toes, leaving an indentation on the hard boulder. The footprints looked so familiar, Qianyi felt like she had seen them somewhere before. After thinking for a while, Qianyi suddenly remembered the GT robot that appeared at the food auction. GT robot. The entrance to the cave beach is very damp and the soil is soft. Anyone with a little weight will leave footprints when they walk in. Qianyi immediately went to the entrance of the cave beach to check. Sure enough, GT robot footprints were found at the entrance. The footprints extended deep into the cave, clearly indicating that the person controlling the GT robot was heading towards the pufferfish whale on the cave beach. Qianyi captured the pufferfish whale by using the power of the space fruit to teleport out and avoid the GT robot that had just entered the cave. However, Toriko and Coco are different. They don't have the ability to teleport, and they will definitely encounter this GT robot if they return along the way. In the original story, Toriko and his group also encountered the GT robot controlled by Staju. There's no need to say more about who Staju is. The second in command of this culinary society was so intimidating that the two of them unleashed their ultimate moves. However, Staju did not attack Toriko and his group, choosing instead to leave quietly. However, in the story, the GT robot controlled by Staju entered the cave beach from thousands of meters deep in the ocean to reach the spawning grounds, without entering through the entrance. Thinking about this, Qianyi guessed a possibility. The person sent by the gourmets to capture the pufferfish whale was someone else. Qianyi stared at the entrance to the cave on the beach for a moment, then shook his head. I hope Toriko and the others are all right. Meanwhile, above the 6th branch of the Gourmet Club, a giant black dragon appeared here, and on the head of this giant dragon stood a man wearing a black cloak and a mask. The man jumped down from the top of the flying dragon head and walked straight towards the control room of the 6th branch. When Qianyi, who was observing Orochimaru and Godot in the control room, saw this person walk in, her expression changed drastically, and she hurriedly stepped forward to kneel and greet him. Lord Staju, I didn't expect you to come here in person. Please forgive me for not welcoming you properly, Qianyi said nervously. That's right, this person is Stadio, the second in command of the Gourmet Club. Their strength is undeniable, no further explanation needed. Staju waved his right hand and said, I heard you've created a new type of GT robot. Yes, the last time Godot tried to control the GT robot, he failed, and the core device fell into the hands of IGO. After that, I upgraded the GT robot and adopted some of Orochimaru's suggestions to create a brand new GT ninjutsu robot, Qianyi answered cautiously. Ninja robot? Orochimaru, who is that? He's a newcomer to the Gourmet Club from the land of ninjas. He's currently piloting the latest ninja robot. Qianyi turned her gaze to Orochimaru in the control room and said, it's still in the refinement stage and needs time for testing. Since it just so happens that the pufferfish whales are spawning, I've sent him to capture them. Oh, the land of ninjas. Staju crossed his arms and slowly said, I've heard that the ninjas of this country use a power called chakra, and use chakra to unleash ninjutsu for attacks. Yes, that's how the GT robot works. Now I've reduced the error in hand seals to less than 1,000th, which is almost enough to release ninjutsu instantly, Qianyi said. Snort. Staju snorted and said, it doesn't matter what kind of GT robot we make, just test it as soon as possible. We must seize all the high-grade ingredients from the human world. The boss's plan cannot be delayed. Yes, yes, I will definitely speed things up. Qianyi said hurriedly with her head down. With Orochimaru's arrival, the gourmet club gradually changes, which has a certain impact on the subsequent plot. Unaware of the truth, Qianyi grew stronger step by step according to his own plan and returned from the cave beach with Kobayashi Rindu, eventually returning to Tatsuki Academy together. The successful capture of the pufferfish whale is something to celebrate. For more than a year, he traveled to various parts of the human world in order to become stronger and rarely spent time with Genshin. So Qianyi decided to take a break and spend some quality time with Longden. Tatsuki Academy in the mountainous area at Genshin's resting villa. How is it? Delicious, isn't it? That evening, Kobayashi Rindu invited her best friend, Akinkubo Momo, and treated her to pufferfish whale sashimi. Momo Akinkubo's eyes turned into heart shapes simply after she ate a piece of pufferfish sashimi. This sashimi is so cute. Seeing Qianyi's expression, she couldn't help but laugh and said, haha, of course. Rindu and I have decided to add pufferfish whale to our menu. Momo, you can come to Rindu and me if you want to eat it in the future. Momo Akinkubo seemed not to hear Chia's words and picked up her chopsticks to keep putting pufferfish sashimi into her mouth. I'd like to invite others to try this delicious food. Let's invite C and the others tomorrow too, Kobayashi Rindu said, looking at Chia with a questioning gaze. Tsukasa, you mean the first seat Tsukasa Aishi? Qianyi pursed her lips and said, it doesn't matter about the others, but can we not call C Yingshi? Seeing Qianyi's expression, Kobayashi Rindu couldn't help but chuckle. Are you jealous? Don't worry, Tsukasa and I are just ordinary friends. This time I went with you to catch the pufferfish whale and I owe it to him for helping me with my work. Treating him to a meal is my way of thanking him. If I need anything in the future, I can ask him for help again. Qianyi is a time traveler and is very familiar with the Food Wars storyline. Thinking about the scenes in Food Wars where Rindu and Aishi cook together makes me very uncomfortable. Even though Rindu is now his woman and he believes she wouldn't do anything to betray him, he still feels somewhat repulsed by Tsukasa Aishi. In the original work, he was someone who almost went astray. 2 months later, on a hillside somewhere in the far moon, Qianyi lay under a big tree with his hands behind his head, legs crossed, and an unknown wild grass dangling from his mouth. A gentle breeze caressed Qianyi's handsome face, and the rustling of the leaves seemed to accompany this leisurely life. He squinted, gazing at the fluffy white clouds in the blue sky, a faint smile playing on his lips. How relaxing, this is what life should be like. Qianyi murmured to himself, recalling the busy times he had spent completing commission tasks. 2 months have passed since the pufferfish whale was captured and brought from the cave beach to Tatsuki Academy. These days, Qianyi spends every day with Kobayashi Rindu, turning down many requests from gourmet hunters who come to his door. During these 2 months in the far moon, although I refused the commission tasks, I still completed all the tasks that the system triggered once a week. 2 months, 8 missions, all triggered in the large location of Tatsuki Academy, and almost all of them are related to cooking. In addition to the regular rewards, he also gained a talent related to his sense of smell, which further enhanced Qianyi's culinary skills. Of course, Qianyi did not forget to improve his strength in his spare time. Every day he would take time to train in food etiquette and food skills. Hard work pays off. More than a year has passed since I received Zai's teachings on food, and I have finally advanced from beginner to intermediate. Host, Qianyi food points, 620 cell grade, 80 cellular demon, none available cooking skill level, proficient reputation, 2010 task, judge for the autumn selection competition, incomplete. Talents, intermediate culinary skills, intermediate acupressure, insight, advanced spatial power, intermediate sense of smell, culinary weapon, chopstick system inventory, none, intermediate level of olfaction. While the innate ability to greatly enhance one's sense of smell is not on the same level as Toriko's Demon King's sense of smell, if it evolves to the ultimate level, the difference is not significant. Even at the intermediate level, Qianyi clearly felt that his sense of smell was more than 10 times stronger than before. In addition, the Food Society has been quite active lately, and John Reese said that it seems to have started plundering ingredients from all over the human world. Ha tilde tilde. The sun felt very comfortable on Qianyi, and she couldn't help but yawn. A wave of drowsiness washed over me, so I closed my eyes, ready to take a short nap. Just then, a voice came from afar. Master Qianyi, so you've been slacking off here. The autumn selection competition is about to begin. As a judge, shouldn't you be taking your place? Qianyi didn't open his eyes, but he knew who it was just by hearing the voice. Right away, it hasn't even started yet. Let's go over in a bit, Qianyi replied lazily. Butch, I really want to punch him in the face, don't you think? Without a doubt, this is Momoko Akin. Over the past 2 months, Qianyi has had a lot of dealings with her. Beneath her lowly-like appearance lies a cunning and ruthless heart. Qianyi opened his eyes and looked at the two women. Today, both Rindu Kobayashi and Momo Akin Kubo are wearing the Tatsuki Academy uniform. The white shirt was neat and clean, highlighting Longden's delicate features, while the dark blue skirt paired with a white bow tie exuded elegance and grace. Akin Kubo Momo was a bit shorter than Rinden, and from the angle from which Che was lying down, she could see right up to Rinden's skirt. Not entirely clear, we need to get closer. Huh, Zayata, what did you say? Can you come a little closer? After spending 2 months together, Akin Momo already knew that Chia was a pervert. How could she not know what he was thinking when she saw the direction his eyes were looking in? Momoko Akin strode up to Chia. See, it's okay, you're the one who's suffering anyway. After finishing her sentence, Akin Kubo Momo gave Chia a strange smile. Qianyi was stunned when he saw it. I was careless, I was wearing leggings underneath. Kobayashi Rindu didn't seem to mind at all when he saw Chia and Akin Kubo Momo acting like this. He even had a smile on his face. All right, you two, stop fooling around, hurry up and get ready. The autumn selection competition is about to begin. All the other judges have arrived. Now we're just waiting for you, Lord Qianyi, Kobayashi Rindu said. Qianyi flipped himself up from the ground and said, no need to prepare, let's go straight. The autumn selection competition is a bit boring, playing house with a bunch of kids. The autumn selection tournament is a major competition held annually at Tatsuki Academy in early autumn. Students who demonstrate outstanding performance in their daily lives are selected as contestants to participate in the competition. The competition adopts a knockout format, consisting of preliminary rounds, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. The preliminary rounds are further divided into Group A and Group B. Qianyi is now serving as a judge for Group A. Che didn't want to go at first, but she couldn't resist Kobayashi Rindu's persistent pleading. This is because the entire autumn selection process was overseen by the Top 10 Council. The judges need to have a certain level of fame and also need to have a good understanding of food. Qianyi is the perfect candidate. Having one's man serve as a judge is a win-win situation. It saves money and gets him attention. Kobayashi Rindu, arm in arm with Chie, walked towards the selection competition venue, saying, Tatsuki Culinary Academy is, after all, one of the world's top-ranked culinary schools, so the overall cooking level of the students is quite good. The participating students have been preparing for this autumn selection competition for 2 months, so the dishes they present won't be bad. They might even have some high-end ingredients that you've never tasted before. All right, then I'll look forward to it a little. I hope these guys won't disappoint me, Qianyi said. They're about the same age as them, yet they say such old-fashioned things, Momoko Akin muttered to herself. Yes, Queen Little Peach is right, so what's dessert tonight? Zayato's special cocoa egg yolk pudding. The scene of the autumn selection competition, Venue A. Before the preliminary rounds officially began, contestants and spectators entered the venue early. In particular, the first-year students participating in this preliminary competition need to prepare ingredients and cooking utensils in advance, which is significantly different from ordinary cooking competitions. As the competition was about to begin, we could see the lecturers and invited audience members from Tatsuki Academy entering the venue. There are 5 judges in total. Apart from Qianyi, the other 4 have already taken their seats. One of the mature women, dressed in a long white gown and possessing a stunning figure, glanced at the empty seat beside her and scoffed. Someone actually arrived later than me. Do they not respect me, the curry queen? The mature woman sitting in front of the judge's table making comments is named Chihiro Natsume. Together with her twin sister Chippio Nagi, they are known as the curry queens. The 2 sisters differ in that they each have a beauty mark under their right and left eyes. The older sister's is at the corner of her right eye, while the younger sister's is at the corner of her left eye. Sitting in Hall A at this moment is the older sister, Chihiro Natsume, who is also the current CEO of Hub Foods, a leading company in the curry industry. She and her younger sister Naaya filmed an advertisement for Curry Princess products when she was young. They were famous in Tokyo and had a curry business market with an annual output of 200 billion yen. This is how she got the title of Curry Queen. The Chihia sisters are also sponsors of Tatsuki Academy, and they are invited to participate in every major Tatsuki event. The theme of this fall selection competition is curry. In order to make the competition more exciting, the 2 sisters were specially invited to serve as the chief judges of venues A and B. Chihiro Natsume sat in the center of the 5 judges, adopting a condescending queenly demeanor and continued, for a preliminary round themed curry, someone is actually late. Does this mean they don't respect me, the curry queen? Standing behind Natsum Chihiro was a student wearing a white shirt and glasses. After hearing Natsum's words, he murmured, "You didn't say that when you were late last time." "Izan, what are you muttering about? Who exactly is the other judge?" Ziya asked, looking at Izan Etsu behind her. Izan Etsuya, a second-year student at Tatsuki Academy's high school, is currently the ninth seed of the Tatsuki Elite 10. He has a good talent for cooking, but he is obsessed with making money and has cultivated a group of subordinates to serve him. For him, there are no permanent friends, only permanent interests. He is a typical money grubber. Izan Etsu also came to Natsum's side and said, "The last judge was invited by another member of the Elite 10. He seems to be a rather famous gourmet hunter." "Gourmet hunter? Didn't you tell me you didn't have enough budget?" "How come you still have money to hire a gourmet hunter as a judge?" Ziya said, "Don't be angry, this gourmet hunter is a family member of the Elite 10 and he's attending for free." He's here." Izan Etsu also turned his gaze to Chia and the other two who walked in from the entrance of the venue. From the moment Qianyi stepped into the cooking area, she smelled the pungent aroma of spices, along with the fragrance of other ingredients. While the aroma of ingredients is so strong, this venue smells of many high-end ingredients. Qianyi looked towards the cooking area and saw nearly 30 students preparing in front of the cooking stations with high-end ingredients everywhere. That's a lobster fish, a fish with lobster claws on its body. Although the flesh of the fish is bland, the lobster claws are a delicacy that rivals even the finest crabs. The students here have prepared juicy tofu and beef. Are they planning to make a dish like curry tofu? Wow, I can even see a raw chocolate sea turtle. It's a beast that produces a lot of chocolate in its body. If you stick its favorite banana on its back, it will unknowingly turn into a chocolate banana. I really want to try it. And this side too. Qianyi's mouth was already watering just looking at the ingredients the students had prepared. Seeing Qianyi's appearance, Kobayashi Rindu couldn't help but laugh and remind him, "All right, be mindful of your image. There are a lot of eyes watching you now." Qianyi didn't care at all and said, "Haha, it's human nature to show the purest appetite in the face of delicious food, it's all right." Soon, someone in the audience recognized Qianyi and exclaimed in surprise as they pointed at him. He's the gourmet hunter Qianyi. I've heard of him. He's a powerful hunter who can catch even rainbow fruits and pufferfish whales. It's said that his strength is on par with the 4 heavenly kings of gourmet food. I never expected that in addition to the curry queen, Tatsuki Culinary Academy would also invite such a big shot. Food hunters, especially those like Qianyi whose fame is almost on par with the 4 heavenly kings of food, are always eye-catching wherever they go. Upon hearing the discussion, Soma Yukihira and the others who were in the cooking area immediately put down their preparations and looked at Chihiro. Qianyi is a judge. Soma Yukihira was stunned for a moment, then his face lit up with excitement. Perfect, let me show you how much I've grown these past few months. Soma was already imagining the look of surprise on Chia's face when he ate the curry dish he made. Not only Soma, but the other first-year students were also sizing up Chia, this powerful gourmet hunter. The members of Polar Star Dormitory, Hayama Akira, Mimisaka Subaru, and others. Irina Nakiri, the only member of the Elite 10 from the first year who failed to participate in this preliminary round, was also secretly observing Chia. Qianyi walked toward the judge's platform under the watchful eyes of everyone. Chihiro Natsum originally intended to give this late judge a hard time, but she panicked a little when she saw that the person who came was Chihiro. It's a gourmet hunter. Qianyi walked to the judging panel and seeing all 4 judges watching her couldn't help but smile and say, "I'm not late, am I?" No. The preliminary rounds don't start for a few more minutes, so we've arrived just in time. Lord Qianyi, please take a seat. Qianyi nodded and sat down next to Ziya. You're a gourmet hunter?" Ziya asked Qianyi after calming down. Qianyi knew the plot of Food Wars and also knew Qianbyo Natsum's identity. "Hello Natsum-san, my name is Qianyi and I am a gourmet hunter. You know me? The curry queen is famous far and wide. I've heard of your name before. Miss Natsum is even more beautiful and charming than rumored. It's an honor to be a judge with you. You're exaggerating. I'm not as pretty as you say." With just a few words, Qianyi made this strong woman blush and blush like a little girl. This left Izan Etsu dumbfounded. Was this still the same strong-willed Senpyo Natsum? In reality, Chihiro Natsum is just a woman in her early 20s. Although she is a powerful businesswoman, she is significantly different from Chihiro, a professional gourmet hunter who has experienced life and death and fought against wild beasts. Qianyi possesses a powerful aura that exerts absolute pressure and attraction on ordinary people. especially the opposite S*X, who are captivated by the indescribable charm emanating from him. Being by Qianyi's side, Qianyi felt a sense of security she had never felt before. This is the sense of security that comes from a powerful gourmet hunter. Brother Qianyi, what is the most dangerous place you have ever been to, and what kind of ferocious beasts did you encounter? It's a cave beach. I encountered a demon serpent with a capture level of around 25 in there. It took me a while to defeat it. The demon serpent, that sounds terrifying. At the judging panel, Qianyi and Qianyi started chatting like this. Ziya kept calling him little brother, and her words and actions became cautious. It was hard to believe that this strong woman had such a side. As the conversation progressed, the way the two addressed each other changed. Brother Qianyi, it's quite a coincidence that we both have the character Qian in our names. Ziya's face flushed slightly. She placed her hands on the judging panel, put her right index finger to her lips and looked at Qianyi with a rosy complexion, saying, Qianyi, little brother tilde, how about becoming someone exclusively mine? I'm willing to pay any amount of money. Qianyi was stunned for a moment. Exclusive, Sister Ziya, what are you talking about? It means to become mine. Ziya said directly, seriously, these two sisters both like dating young men. In the story, Natsume's younger sister Niji said something similar to Ishiki Satoshi, such as become mine quickly, and I will take care of you for the rest of my life. Qianyi didn't mind that such a mature beauty was offering herself up, but did her words imply that she wanted him to be the submissive one? I'm sorry, Sister Ziya, I'm a person who likes freedom and doesn't want to be bound. It's a pity, but you must tell me if you change your mind. I'll be waiting for you. Qianyi didn't want to dwell on this issue any longer, so she immediately changed the subject, saying, well, the preliminary rounds are about to begin. The trainees have prepared a lot of high-quality ingredients for this round, which is worth seeing. Qianyi and Ziya were having a pleasant conversation, which was observed by Kobayashi Rindu and Akin Kubo Momo, who were not far away. Momo Akin squeezed Butch's head out of shape with her two fists, pouting angrily. Bad woman, Momoko Akin muttered to herself. If looks could kill, Chihiro Natsume would have died 1,000 times over. Kobayashi Rindu braced himself against the railing, looking at the angry Akin Kubo Momo and said, I told you long ago that Chia is not a man who can be captured by food. If you want to make a move, you should do it sooner rather than later. You didn't seize such a good opportunity in the past 2 months. Who knows when you'll get another chance? Kobayashi Rindu didn't mind at all that Chia had another woman, especially since that woman was her best friend. It is Qianyi's ability and strength that enables Longden to have such a broad mind. On one hand, Qianyi's abilities in that area were too strong, and she couldn't handle it alone. On the other hand, with Qianyi's strength and talent, he will surely become a powerful gourmet hunter in the future. The rules of the world no longer apply to him. As his strength grows, the number of people around him, especially women, will also increase. Genshin had long been mentally prepared. Momo, I won't lose to that bad woman. Momo made up her mind at that moment. That's right, for the past 2 months, Kobayashi Rindu and Akin Kubo Momo have been living together. Qianyi ate the dishes made by the two women for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, especially the desserts made by Akin Kubo Momo. She ate them every day without fail, and each day was different. Qianyi isn't stupid. How could she not understand Kubo Momo's feelings? The only thing the two haven't officially acknowledged yet is their relationship. Shortly after, the preliminary rounds of the autumn selection competition officially began. The competition began, and the trainees took out the ingredients they had prepared in advance and started processing them. The theme of this selection competition is curry, which was announced a month ago to give the trainees ample time to prepare. Making curry is not as simple as just mixing spices together. There is a strict ratio involved. If there is too much or too little of any spice, it will produce an unwanted off flavor and seriously affect the taste of the dish. It is clear that making your own unique curry is not easy, at least it is a challenge for these trainees. As time passed, a rich aroma of spices wafted from the cooking area. During the cooking process, the flavors of the ingredients and spices combine, and the rich aroma continuously stimulates Qianyi's taste buds. It smells so good. When will it be ready? Hurry, I'm starving. Qianyi said, wiping the drool from the corner of her mouth. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, one student finally finished cooking. He confidently presented the dishes for 5 people to the 5 judges, including Qianyi. Oh, the curry smells so rich it looks delicious, Qianyi said, looking at the dish in front of her. With a confident expression, the contestant explained to the 5 judges, including Qianyi, What I made is spicy and sour chicken curry, and the main ingredient is onion chicken. Please try it. Onion chicken, a level 5 catch, feeds onions and has a flavor that resembles onions but not as pungent. Onion chicken rice is a popular dish in many restaurants. Qianyi wasn't picky about food, so she picked up a spoon and started tasting it first. He frowned after taking the first bite, but continued to savor it after a moment. Before long, Qianyi finished the rest of the food without wasting a single bite. However, when watching others taste it, they only took one bite before putting down their spoons. The student was unaware of the problem. He was simply excited to see Qianyi finish all the dishes he had prepared. This powerful gourmet hunter has eaten all the food I made. I'm sure I'll get a high score this time, 80 or 85. Each of the 5 judges has 20 points to score, for a total of 100 points. The scoring results came out quickly, and the student only received 24 points. The MC, thinking that Qianyi and the other judges had made a mistake, reminded them, Judges, the score you have is not 10 points, it's 20 points. Of course I know that. Qianyi suddenly spoke up, saying, I gave him 5 points, and that's from the perspective of him being a student. If we go by my standards for cooking, his dish would only get 1 point at most. Upon hearing this, the student in front of him was stunned, and the others were also quite surprised. 1 point? How could it be so low? The student was very indignant. Pointing at Qianyi's completely empty bowl, he said, You clearly ate all the food I made, so why only give me 5 points? Besides, the ingredients I used were super high-level ingredients with a capture level of 5. Please explain this clearly. The student was dissatisfied with his score and went to Qianyi to demand an explanation. Chihiro Natsume's expression turned cold as she stared at the student in front of her and said coldly, What are you questioning our tongues? I didn't. After all, he was just a 15-year-old student. After being glared at by a strong woman like Qianyi, he instantly lost his confidence. Get out of here. Getting 24 points is already an extraordinary favor. If it weren't for Qianyi's sake, I wouldn't have given you a single point. Qianyi said coldly, Oh, Sister Qianyi, don't take it so seriously. The other person is just a student. Qianyi looked at the student in front of him and smiled, saying, Let me explain what happened. Yes, I finished your dish, but only because I didn't want to waste the ingredients and out of gratitude for them. As for the taste of the dish itself, it was indescribable. The characteristic of hot and sour chicken curry is its complex flavor of sourness and spiciness, allowing diners to experience both the rich aroma of curry and the refreshing sour and spicy taste. This unique combination of flavors makes hot and sour chicken curry stand out among many dishes and become a regular on the dining table. However, you made a fatal mistake in choosing the ingredients. Onion chicken is indeed a high-end ingredient, but its strong onion flavor masks the sour and spicy flavors, creating a third flavor that disrupts the balance of the entire dish. My friend, the key to whether a dish is delicious or not is not how high-end the ingredients are, but the chef's mastery of the ingredients and his own cooking skills. Blindly using high-end ingredients that you cannot handle will only backfire. Qianyi's words left the student speechless, and he could only leave dejectedly. Then Qianyi stood up and addressed everyone present. Everyone, please keep those words in mind. I also want to remind you all to be down to earth. Only by taking one step at a time can we continue on this pioneering path of culinary exploration. Please rest assured that our judges are absolutely fair and will not make any unfair judgments. You can completely trust the palate of a professional culinary hunter. These words gave confidence to the students who were about to submit their culinary applications and also enlivened the atmosphere at the scene. Subsequently, several more students submitted their dishes. Without exception, Qianyi ate them all, leaving not a single bite. But so far, the highest scoring dish only has 33 points. It wasn't that Qianyi and the others didn't want to give it a high score, but rather that the food tasted terrible. It's so bad, I doubt anyone here could make a dish that scores above 50. Asking you to make curry for me to try is a stretch. Qianyi sighed at the students in front of her, then turned to Qianyi and winked, saying, Little brother Qianyi, after this is over, I'll treat you to a fancy restaurant. I'll make sure you eat and drink your fill. No rush, the truly delicious dishes will be served now, Qianyi said. In the Food Wars storyline, the 92nd generation of students are known as the Golden Age. Some of the trainees were rough gems selected from all over Tokyo by Tatsuki Commander Senziman Nakiri, including Soma Yukihira and Akira Hayama. These rough gems haven't had their turn to shine yet. In the Food Wars storyline, Rock Jade's goal is to save God Tongue. In the current world setting of food prisoners, the concept of the curse of the God Tongue does not exist. Of course, these were just Qianyi's guesses, and he had no interest in the Nakiri family's affairs. Before long, the first piece of unpolished jade was served. Qianyi had a strong impression of this person. This student was named Kurakiba Ryo, who was Alice Nakiri's follower. He grew up in a kitchen by the sea and was very skilled at handling seafood. His lobster and fish French curry uses one-level lobster fish as the main ingredient. The ingredients are not of high grade, but their characteristics and deliciousness are brought out to the fullest. Without damaging the delicate texture of the lobster fish, the shell is broken and simmered with fish bones and curry to make the broth. Then soak the shelled lobster meat in the curry broth. Judging from its appearance alone, the dish was very different from what I had tasted before, and its taste was even more drastically different. Ziryo had only taken one bite of each dish since the beginning, but this time she finally took a second bite, then a third. And in the end she couldn't stop eating. Qianyi finished the entire dish and couldn't help but nod in praise. In the end, Chiyo gave Kurakiba Ryo's dish 16 points, and the other 4 judges, including Natsum, also gave it high scores. In the end, Ryo Kurakiba came in first place with a high score of 93 points. Kurakiba Ryo got off to a good start, followed by individual performances from the first-year students. A variety of dishes themed around curry were presented to Qianyi. Ryoko Sakaki, a beautiful woman with long, wine-red hair and an enviable figure and well-developed breasts, made curry natto rice, which received a score of 86. Marui Zenji and Ibuzaki Shun, both members of the Polar Star Dormitory, scored 88 points each with their white broth curry udon noodles and special smoked curry dishes, respectively. With her wheat-colored skin and revealing clothing, Maido Ikumi scored 86 points with her curry pork belly rice bowl. However, before the competition reached its climax, Hayama Akira, known as the spice expert, served up his curry dish, fish head curry puff pastry soup, a creative dish made with a variety of spices, which received the highest score of 94 points. Having tasted this much, Qianyi was already quite satisfied. Sitting in her chair, she couldn't help but say contentedly, "Phew, it's been a long time since I've eaten so comfortably. This trip was definitely worthwhile, right, Sister Zirya? It's a little bit to satisfy me. These students have really surprised me." Zirya was still unwilling to admit it, but the honey-red blush on her face said it all. With the game progressing to this point, time is running out. Just when everyone thought no high score would appear, Soma Yukihira, who grew up in a small restaurant, finally served up his dish. "Qianyi, try my cooking and experience the transformation of my culinary skills." Soma Yukihira presented the finished dish to the 5 judges, including Chia, and it was a dish similar to an omelet. However, beneath the exterior of the winnow is rice and other ingredients. This dish is also called curry omelet rice. Upon seeing the dish laid out before him, Che smiled and said, "Soma, is this what you've accomplished in Tatsuki these past few months? Well then, let me see what's so special about it." As she spoke, Qianyi picked up the spoon next to the plate and then swung it, tapping it on the shell of the omega. Gah! With a crisp sound, the omega cracked open, and the aroma trapped inside spread outwards like a bomb exploding. At the same time, the risotto inside was also revealed. Soma's idea is similar to Hayama Akira's fish head curry puff pastry soup from earlier. Both of them wrapped the food up and then released the aroma in one go when they were about to eat it. Haha, what an interesting dish. The rice grains inside the egg crepe shimmer with a captivating luster, just like white rice dipped in a top-quality sauce in a rice bowl. Qianyi laughed loudly, picked up a spoon, scooped up a large spoonful and put it in his mouth. After eating it, he was surprised. The aroma you smell is not on the same level as the aroma you taste. The intense aroma assaults your taste buds like a raging storm. The rich broth, made from chicken bones and beef shank, is then infused into the rice with the delicious flavor of ground beef and onions sautéed in butter. The gravy from the risotto blended perfectly with the perfectly fried, tender eggs. This time, even Zia couldn't help but praise it, saying, "It looks like just ordinary risotto, but after eating it, I feel like my whole body is about to collapse." Qianyi scooped up another spoonful of rice mixed with sauce and put it in her mouth, saying slowly, "The key to this dish is this sauce. It's made with oyster sauce as a base and then seasoned with honey, resulting in a rich flavor with a mild sourness. This sauce and the risotto bring out 2 different levels of flavor. The 2 aromas blend together one after another, constantly tempting the diner's heart. The aroma and subtle fragrance come from cardamom and cumin, along with the cloves that constantly stimulate the tongue. Although you can smell fragments of the aroma, they only go so far as to focus on the surface ingredients. This flavor, so closely combined with the spices, must be mango matsutake. Mango matsutake, a level 3 catch, has the unique aroma of matsutake and the addictive sweet and sour taste of mango. It is a basidiomycete mushroom belonging to the Tricholomatacea family. While it is delicious to eat on its own, its aroma will be enhanced, and its flavor will become richer if it is lightly grilled and then drizzled with soy sauce. Furthermore, if this is also the main ingredient used by Yukihira restaurant to make its secret sago sauce, it is an ingredient that Yukihira Joachiro often uses. After learning about the structure of Soma's cooking, Qianyi couldn't help but smile again, saying, when you were cooking the rice, you added a mango sweet and sour sauce, made primarily with mango and matsutake mushrooms, using this as a core element to combine with the original flavors of various spices, making the dish taste even more profound. Soma, this dish is indeed a great improvement compared to last time, but this level is not enough to challenge me. Keep up the good work. Qianyi then gave Soma's dish a high score of 18 as encouragement. The other 4 judges also gave Soma a very high score, and he ultimately scored 94 points, tying for first place with Akira Hayama. After Soma, no dish has ever scored higher. With this, the preliminary rounds of the Tatsuki Academy Autumn Selection Tournament have concluded. Ding, congratulations on completing the task of judge of the Autumn Selection Competition. Food points plus 50, reputation points plus 30. Having completed her mission, Qianyi had just stepped out of the venue when she received a call from John Reese. Rewinding to 3 hours earlier, when Qianyi was serving as a judge for the Autumn Selection Competition. At IGO, several bureau chiefs were gathered together for an important meeting. At the table, the expressions of the various bureau chiefs differed, with the director of the legal department displaying the most somber expression, his brow furrowed from the moment he entered the meeting room. IGO Secretariat Director Yuman Umeda took a sip of coffee, looked up at the video hanging above the conference table and slowly said, "The Gourmet Club has finally made its move. And then how much damage?" Currently, the land tough-fish and hamburger in the 4th habitat, the red scorpion in the 5th habitat, and the rainbow fruit in the 8th habitat have all been taken away. The person currently reporting the battle damage is a bespectacled, refined-looking young man. He is Red Wine, the director of the IGO Administration Bureau. Red Wine picked up the documents on the table and continued. The 8th habitat was the most severely affected, with all the rainbow fruits stolen and the Trokong almost completely wiped out. According to the surveillance footage, the enemy is a new type of GT robot, and we are currently investigating who controls it. The new GT robot, the same model that appeared at the last gourmet auction? John Reese asked. Not entirely sure. Red Wine picked up another document and said, however, it's very likely a different model. This attack on several habitats by GT robots is quite strange. Regardless of the model, the operator must be someone of comparable skill. The speaker at this moment is an elderly man, Wu Liu, the finance director of IGO. After Wu Liu finished speaking, Narod, the head of IGO's publicity department, said, "The food police have already been dispatched, haven't they, chief of the Wine Glass Bureau?" The man with the wine glass still frowned and sighed, "Yes, but it's a pity we failed. Captain Thor of the Mobile Squad has been killed." "How could this be? The captain of the Special Gourmet Squad is actually." He was a highly decorated gourmet hunter before, and his strength is quite remarkable. Wu Liu exclaimed in surprise. Umeda pondered for a moment. IGO should come up with a corresponding countermeasure. Director Red Wine summoned the 4 heavenly kings. Yes, Toriko Koko Sani, Zebula needs to have his release papers processed immediately, Red Wine said. Ah, the man with the wine glass rubbed his head, his headache worsening. Release Zebra? I think we should forget about it. I don't want him out at all. If the opponent is the Gourmet Association, there's nothing we can do. This is to protect the order and peace of world food. Zebra is the one who's most likely to disrupt order. Let's not release Zebra for now. I don't think it's time yet. I do have someone in mind to replace Zebra. John Reese spoke again, saying, Gourmet Hunter Qianyi, a gourmet hunter who has been active in recent years, he has successfully completed the missions we have given him. Last time he was the one who destroyed the Gourmet Association's GT robot. Oh, I've heard of that name before. Let him fill Zebra's vacancy then. It's rare to find someone with such skill among the younger generation of gourmet hunters. I also support his decision to organize the food festival. So, what are the current restricted areas and ingredients? Several bureau chiefs simultaneously turned their attention to the red wine. The location is the legal island of the first habitat, and the ingredient is the ancient food treasure, the legal mammoth, Red Wine said. The first realm is the highest level of the 8 realms in the human world, and the ingredients grown here are extremely precious. The director in charge of the first Habitat Research Institute is Mansum, whose name is known to everyone in IGO. If Director Mansom himself is in charge of the guard duty, there shouldn't be any worries. However, to prevent the director from making mistakes due to drinking, let's send another person over, Redwine said. Turning back to Tatsuki Academy. I see, so this mission is about gem meat. The Gourmet Club has already set its sights on this ingredient so quickly. Qianyi learned about the commission task while on the phone with John Reese. Gemstone flesh is food that grows inside the body of a giant beast called the statutory mammoth. Therefore, the legal mammoth is also known as the ancient food treasure, and because it inhabited the Ligaloo Plateau, it is also called the Ligaloo mammoth. They grow very quickly, reaching 50 m in length within a few weeks of birth. They have low reproductive capacity but are very long-lived, living for over 500 years and continuing to grow throughout that time. As the size increases, the capture level also increases. Some part of its body contains jewel meat, which combines the deliciousness of various parts of the body. The location of its appearance varies depending on the individual, so it is quite difficult to find. Without a doubt, this is one of the highest-grade ingredients in the human world. Due to its rarity, it was undoubtedly the highest-grade food served in ancient times. Moreover, because it shines like a gemstone, it was also used as a wedding ring. It's not just a gift men use to attract women, it can also be used to prove one's strength by defeating the Ligaloo mammoth. Therefore, from ancient times to the present, jewel meat has always been a treasure that only the brave can obtain. Gemstone meat is a special ingredient that is almost indispensable for anyone with gourmet cells. Anyone who has never tasted it will definitely see their gourmet cells level greatly improved after eating it. This ingredient is essential and must be obtained at all costs. It is the key to enhancing our strength. I'll take this commission. Just wondering, besides me, have you commissioned anyone else? Qianyi asked this question because he was thinking about the plot of the original work. In the story, besides Zebra, the other 3 Gourmet Kings team up to fight against several GT robots from the Gourmet Association. In addition, there is Komatsu and the Beast Tamer Bell from the Igo Laboratory, and Toriko and Sani too, but I'll give you every penny of your reward. Minister John, you've misunderstood me. I can forego the commission fee, but I'd like to try the taste of the gem flesh. Let's keep it the same as before. I'll take half and the rest will be given to you and the others. Compared to the fact that it fell directly into the hands of the Gourmet Club, it's nothing for Qianyi to only take half. Moreover, Igo might only need less than 1/20th of that for research. No matter what, the gem flesh must not fall into the hands of the Gourmet Guild. Set off for the first realm immediately. Where are you? I'll come pick you up right away. I'll send you the location of Tatsuki Academy in Tokyo. Good. Capture the gem flesh. Main quest introduction. The main storyline is back. The host's strength has surpassed 3 of the 4 heavenly kings of gourmet food. Continue to expand your influence and completely surpass the 4 heavenly kings. Completion condition. Obtain the gem flesh and eat it. Rewards: food points plus 150, reputation plus 300, minority barrier. After Qianyi ended the call with John Reese, she opened the task panel. Sure enough, I received a main quest. Qianyi was stunned for a moment after seeing the mission reward: 300 reputation points. This is more than the 2 main quests completed before combined, and the talent ability rewards later on are even more astonishing. Minority barrier. This dragon's ultimate skill can be described as divine. The system once said that the rewards for the mission would be randomly given to the talent that is most lacking. Qianyi's cooking skills are the same as Yilong's, both using chopsticks. Putting aside his own strength, the core talent he currently lacks in his chopsticks is the minority barrier. In other words, if Qianyi's food-making weapon were a fork, the reward might have become Toriko's talents, which also use forks, such as fork shield, flying fork, leg fork, etc. One of the reasons I chose chopsticks as my cooking tools was that they originated in Daxia, and they are easy to use and feel familiar to me. Another reason is the reward for completing the task. The reward for the newly refreshed mission is the talent ability he desires most. After his initial joy, Qianyi's expression turned serious. The more generous the task reward, the higher the difficulty of the task. Upon closer examination, it becomes clear that in addition to entrusting Qianyi with the task, IGO also summoned 2 Gourmet Kings, Toriko and Sani, demonstrating that the Gourmet Association had deployed considerable strength. Staju, Qianyi sighed inwardly as she thought of Staju's power. The situation was urgent, and Qianyi immediately informed Xiaolin Longden to prepare to go to the first habitat of IGO. Meanwhile, at the food festival. Although Orochimaru is a newcomer who has only been in the Gourmet Club for a short time, in the past 2 months, He has made outstanding contributions and gained the appreciation of the branch leader and the deputy head chef, and has become a core member of the 6th branch. In particular, the GT Ninja robot, which he and Qianyi jointly developed, achieved great success, raising the combat power of the GT robot by several levels. Unfortunately, the GT Ninja robot is more difficult to operate and requires mastery of ninjutsu, so currently only Orochimaru in the entire Gourmet Club can skillfully control it. In order to seize the jewel flesh, the Gourmet Club deployed 6 GT robots, led by the 6th Minister Sedor, with the remaining members being Godo, Bei, Zeba, and Orochimaru. These 5 GT robots have successfully entered the first habitat and are on their way to seize the gem flesh. The remaining GT robot was operated by the sous chef Staju. Since it was Staju who made the request suddenly, they did not act with the others and were still on their way to the first realm. A few hours later, Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu boarded a gourmet plane bound for the first realm. The first habitat is different from the other 7 habitats, both in terms of its area and the ingredients it cultivates. The location is an isolated island in the Pacific Ocean, with a total area of over 500,000 square kilometers. How big is 500,000 square kilometers? This is equivalent to the total area of Sichuan province, where Qianyi lived in his previous life. The first habitat was built primarily for the development and research of food, but because the land area is so vast, even Igo itself cannot grasp all the details. The modified and cloned organisms that were kept in the yard for research purposes have now formed an independent ecosystem on the island. Therefore, as a tourist island, the first habitat is quite famous in the human world. However, not everyone can enter here. There are strict restrictions on entering the island. Only 1 million tourists visit each year, and reservations are now booked up for 5 years in advance. Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu were invited this time, so naturally they didn't need to make an appointment. Food on the plane, back seat. As Qianyi savored the food prepared on the plane, she looked at John Reese sitting opposite her and asked, "So Toriko and the others have already arrived at the first realm. I've already made contact with them." "Toriko and the director are currently at the gourmet arena," John Reese said. Sitting next to Qianyi, Kobayashi Rindu asked curiously, "Gourmet arena, what kind of place is that?" The gourmet arena was originally set up to test the combat power and capture level of ferocious beasts. Now it has become a unique tourist attraction in the first wilderness, and many tourists go there specifically for this place, Qianyi explained. "Yes, that's about right." John Reese nodded, examined the gentian for a moment and said, "After fusing with the gourmet cells, Miss Kobayashi's strength has improved by leaps and bounds. She will definitely be a chef with a bright future." "Minister John, I still have a long way to go and much to learn," Kobayashi Rindu said modestly. Now Kobayashi Genshin has reached cell level 28 and has learned food ethics, so he can basically stand on his own. To successfully find the gem flesh this time, we will need to rely on the luck of the Genshin. Qianyi finished a glass of highly concentrated yellow peach juice and then asked, "Speaking of which, what fierce beasts are in today's culinary arena?" Qianyi asked the question deliberately, precisely because she was thinking about what had happened in the plot. The ancient king, the wolf warrior. As in the original work, on the day Toriko and the others arrived at the first realm, the ferocious beast that appeared in the arena was the fighting wolf. The fighting wolf, hailed as the strongest giant wolf born in ancient times and the king of the continent, remains a mystery in terms of its capture level and ecological habits. One of the 8 kings who rule the culinary world is a fighting wolf. However, the fighting wolf in the first habitat is only a clone, and its strength is far inferior to that of the fighting wolves in the gourmet world. Qianyi wasn't very interested in this clone. There was no need to rush for pets or companions. Once he became strong enough, he could easily get any pet he wanted. It was already afternoon when Qianyi and Xiaolin Longden arrived at the first habitat. "Is this the entrance to the first realm?" Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu stepped off the gourmet airplane and looked around. The plane landed halfway up a mountain, where you could see the general outline of the first habitat. Surrounded by the sea on all sides, the entire island is encircled by towering mountains. Putting aside the realm system here, it would be almost impossible for ordinary people to cross the defense line and enter. 2 IGO guards stood in front of the massive alloy gate, which was nearly 100 meters long. John Reese led the way and explained, "This is Gate 6 of the first habitat, not the official entrance, but just the entrance to the Research Institute. The entrance for tourists is elsewhere, and only a small part of the first habitat is open to the public." To enter deeper parts of the habitat, you must go through the Gourmet Research Institute. After entering through Gate 6 and going through a series of security checks, Qianyi and Xiaolin Longden arrived at the Gourmet Research Institute. The Food Research Institute, simply put, is a place where food is produced. All sorts of food processing machines I'd never seen before were running, and the air was filled with the aroma of various ingredients. On the conveyor belt, you can see various ingredients being processed. Roasted whole pig, pineapple, beef, and goat with fish. There are also many ingredients that Qianyi has never seen before. How spectacular! Is this where food is produced in the first habitat? As expected of IGO, no one else can produce on this scale. Both Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu sighed in admiration. Johans, who was leading the way, said without turning around, 1/3 of the ingredients that IGO exports to other countries come from here. This is the largest food processing plant in the 8 habitats. Continuing onward, passing through rows of towering machines, and after taking an underground elevator, we arrived at the heart of the Gourmet Research Institute. There are many ferocious beasts in the room that seems to have no end. The wild animals were either kept in cages or in containers filled with green liquid. This is where IGO studies hybrid beasts. A hybrid beast is created by combining 2 ferocious beasts into one. For example, the mussel crab in front of us, which is a level 3 capture, is a hybrid species obtained by mating a level 1 mussel bison and a level 2 razor crab. This creature effectively combines the strengths of both, possessing the power of a muscular bison and the sharp claws of a razor crab, thus creating a chain creature. It is a popular and highly sought-after beast in the culinary arena. Qianyi was indifferent to these hybrid beasts. He quickly passed through the research lab and finally arrived at the living area of the first habitat, where rows of impressive buildings appeared before him. That's strange. I clearly told Director Mansom to come and pick us up. John Reese arrived at the designated location and found no one there to greet him, which puzzled him. Just then, a staff member rushed over. "Sir John, I'm here to pick you up on behalf of the director. Does the director have other matters to attend to?" No, the director was injured in the gourmet arena by the Gourmet Club's GT robot. The staff member then briefly explained what had happened at the food arena, which was the same as what Qianyi knew from the storyline. Igo, unaware that the wolf was about to give birth, sent it to fight the other 4 beasts. The beast tamer Bell mistakenly dispensed the calming perfume as the fighting perfume, causing the 4 beasts to unleash their ferocity and engage in battle with the fighting wolves. Despite being severely exhausted after giving birth to her cubs, the wolf swiftly killed 4 ferocious beasts, including the demon serpent. At this point, the GT robots that had infiltrated the Gourmet Club began to attack, ambushing Mansom and injuring him, and then shooting and killing the mother wolf. Toriko was enraged and used all his power to destroy the GT robot, but he was also seriously injured. The wolf cub that lost its mother recognized Toriko as its master, and Toriko named it Terry. For demons like Toriko and Mansom who possess gourmet cells, as long as the injury isn't fatal, they can recover with just 1 meal. So Mansom planned to treat Toriko and Qianyi, who had come from afar, to a life menu that evening. Evening at the restaurant of the Food Research Institute. Inside the spacious restaurant, a huge round table with a diameter of over 50 meters is set with delicious dishes based on the Mansom Life menu. Mansom's Life menu. Appetizer, stealing snails with wine, hunting level 28. Soup, scallop and wine soup, hunting level 25. Fish, Dionysus shark, hunting level 31. Meat, drunken beef, hunting level 30. Main course, Bacchus, hunting level 37. Salad, Bacchus onion, hunting level 15. Dessert, wine-flavored white melon, hunting level 19. Beverage, Bacchus tide, hunting level 33. Although they were all high-grade ingredients from the human realm, without exception, they were all related to alcohol, which made Qianyi, who did not drink, hesitate to approach them. Sitting at the table were Toriko, Sani, Mansom, Qianyi, Kobayashi, Rindu, Komatsu, and Rin. A winged leopard was crouching next to the huge dining table. Before the meal, everyone had a detailed discussion about the gem meat. The GT robot that appeared in the gourmet arena in the afternoon was just a tool used by the Gourmet Club to confuse the crowd and buy time. The other 4 GT robots have entered the first habitat zone. That's roughly how it is. We'll head to the habitat area first thing tomorrow morning to capture the gem flesh. Qianyi tore off the shell of a piano lobster, put the tender, juicy meat into her mouth and slowly savored it. They split into 3 teams, entered the habitat area via 3 routes, and eventually met up at the Legalu Plateau. Haha, it doesn't matter what, as long as the gem flesh doesn't fall into the hands of the gourmet gathering. Qianyi, it's your first time at the Research Institute, so be sure to eat a lot. Mansom picked up a large glass of beer in his right hand and laughed loudly. Thank you for your warm hospitality, Director Mansom. What, you just said I'm handsome. No, you misheard. Sani, like Toriko, is one of the 4 heavenly kings of gourmet food. His strength is comparable to Toriko's, but he is the pickiest eater among the 4. He had long, colorful hair, a slender build, and skin whiter than a woman's. He was a handsome man. Like other heavenly kings, he also possesses a sensory ability, touch. He has long, colorful hair, possesses the strength of a ferocious beast, and can send enemies flying from a great distance. He can even understand the composition of living beings. Insight Cell Level 41, slightly stronger than Toriko now. This was Qianyi's first meeting with Sani, and he couldn't help but glance at him a few more times. Sani noticed Qianyi's gaze and couldn't help but ask, Qianyi, is there something you need? Qianyi then withdrew his gaze and smiled, saying, it's only our first meeting, so it's understandable that I'm curious, especially since you're a top-tier gourmet. Outside the GT Robot Control Room, the 6th branch of the Gourmet Club. Because Toriko destroyed the GT Robot, Bay was furious and yelled outside the control room. That be ******* D Toriko. He actually said he'd come in person next time. Perfect, I'll tear your guts out and stomp them to pieces with my own hands. You probably can't defeat Toriko now. Kaio Nyang's voice came from behind Beiyi. You're so noisy, Kaio Nyang. Kaio Nyang remained calm and took out an electronic device, saying, Look, the number 8 machine you control has been subjected to more than 16 pressure shocks by Director Toriko. That means it has suffered 16 fatal wounds. If it were purely physical, you would have died long ago. This is so annoying. Is it because your crappy machine is no good? By the way, how are the other robots doing? While I was stalling for time, they should have already caught the delicious legal mammoth, Bay asked. All 4 have landed, but it seems the key mammoth hasn't been found. What? If things go wrong, Igo and the others might beat us to it. Don't fail, I don't want to get beaten half to death. This batch of ingredients seems very important to the head chef. And Orochimaru, he's piloting the latest GT robot. Kaio Nyang did not answer and looked back at the control room. Turning back inside the restaurant of the Food Research Institute. The table was full of food and most of it was eaten in no time. Toriko, who was originally seriously injured, had fully recovered and there was no scar left. The same goes for Mansom. His wounds healed simply from drinking alcohol. Qianyi remembered that Mansom's gourmet cell demon seemed to be related to alcohol, and his addiction to alcohol was inseparable from this. You mean GT Robotics? Toriko's sudden mention caught Chiyo's attention. The GT robot in the arena this afternoon is different from the one I encountered on the cave beach last time. Toriko recalled, the GT robot on the cave beach used strange moves, creating scorching flames and wind blades that could cut through boulders, and it could also shoot lasers. Even when Coco and I teamed up to fight it, we couldn't destroy it. Qianyi remained silent, her thoughts drifting back to what had happened 2 months earlier on the beach in the cave. Is there any difference between the GT robots in the arena and the ones we encountered on the cave beach? Mansom asked, sipping his drink. The one on the cave beach is stronger and more troublesome. The GT robot in the arena this afternoon is obviously weaker and doesn't use any strange moves. It only attacks with lasers and the weapons on its body, Toriko said. Can it create flames and wind blades? Is it a newer version of the GT robot? Qianyi fell into deep thought. Well, no matter what kind of GT robot it is, a battle is inevitable in the end. After a satisfying meal, everyone rested for the night. The next day, just as dawn broke, Qianyi and his group arrived at the legal wall. The legal wall refers to the entire primary habitat ecoregion, named for the towering mountains that surround it. This vast land, covering 500,000 square kilometers, is home to countless ferocious beasts with an average level of 27. Looking at the boundless ecological area ahead, Qianyi said, let's proceed according to yesterday's plan. Which of your 2 teams will choose first? The Ligularu mammoth inhabited the Ligularu Plateau, statutory plateau, at an altitude of 3,000 meters, and there are 3 routes to reach it from the Research Institute. The first route detours from the left side of the Research Institute, passing through the mushroom forest and the ancient swamp before finally reaching the Ligalu Plateau. The second route detours around the right side of the Research Institute, requiring passage through the White Forest and then through the Demon Arena, 2 dangerous areas. The third route is a straight line from the Research Institute. Compared to the other 2 routes, it is the least dangerous, passing only through the black grass grassland, and it also saves the most time. However, this route has a hidden danger. The Gourmet Club's GT robots may very well have chosen this route, and starting from here means you could encounter them at any time. There are 3 routes and 3 teams. Qianyi and Kobayashi Rindu team up, Komatsu and Toriko team up, and the rest are Sani and his sister Rin. Matsu, which route should we take? Toriko asked. Komatsu scratched the back of his head looking bewildered and said, I don't know either, let Mr. Sani and the others choose. The demon arena sounds disgusting, I'll choose the first route, Sani made the first decision. A2, what about you? Qianyi asked. Toriko thought for a moment and said, then let's start from the second route. In that case, Genshin and I will set off on the third route. Everyone, I hope we can meet up on the Legalu Plateau. Since ancient times, the capable have always prevailed. Whoever arrives on the Legalu Plateau first will have the right to capture. Whether they can capture them or not depends on their own fate. Also, if you encounter the Gourmet Club's GT robots, don't hold back. Having said all that needed to be said, Qianyi and Xiao and Longden quickly headed towards the black grassland. Xiao Asung, let's go too. Yes, Mr. Toriko. Komatsu and Toriko headed to the right. After the two teams had walked away, Sani pouted and said, this is really annoying. Brother, who are you referring to, the Gourmet Food Club? Ling asked. Those guys from the Gourmet Club are annoying, and Qianyi is no exception. Judging from his tone, it seems like he's planning to keep the gem flesh all to himself. Heh, how could something so beautiful fall into the hands of others? Belle, let's go. After grumbling for a while, Sani and Ling quickly headed down the left-hand route. Qianyi's only goal now is to capture the gem flesh as soon as possible, complete the main quest, and strengthen his gourmet cells. Without stopping, we soon arrived at the Black Grassland. Black Grassland, as the name suggests, is a grassland covered with black grass. Black grass, a perennial herb of the castor family, is a level 1 ingredient for capture. Although its color suggests a bitter taste, it has a surprisingly fresh flavor. The texture is crisp, similar to chives or scallions. Furthermore, the dense black grass known as the black carpet is a valuable source of nutrition for the herbivores that inhabit the surrounding area. Qianyi squatted down, casually grabbed a handful of black grass, put it in his mouth to taste, and looked around, saying, this is strange. Qianyi, what's wrong? Longden asked.